This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hello! Happy Saturday. It's good to see y'all. I'm glad to see Miss Sarah, Crackerjack, Southern Cats, Allie Eggs, Anders, Hannah UK, Fawny, Nona, Sally, Southern Cat, Stoic Dissension, Smoky Mountain Mermaid, Mallory Beavers, Joy, Rubber Ramada. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Rachel, good to see you, love. Natalie, good to see you. Wolfpack, Cindy from Southern Florida, Colleen with the Horse Rescue, Kelsey, Colleen J, good to see you. Lord Mommy, good to see you. Good to see you. Let me know if that air conditioner is too loud. I haven't been having it on because it is so loud. Okay, so, I don't know how to share this. Okay, Abellis, I didn't even see you. Oh, there you are. So hard to see. Good to see you. Nona needs a nap. Good to see you. Amanda, good to see you. Miss Boomer. Jenny Jen, good to see you, my love. It's good to see y'all. Okay, so this case I have been interested in all the way. It happened in 2016, and I submitted a FOIA request. This is out of New Mexico. It is like the absolute worst case I had ever seen. Okay. But there's more to the story than you might think. Hey, Ava Sim, Wolfpack, LJ, good to see you. So we're going to start with this video I made. Maybe. Let me see if I can pull it up on YouTube. Yep, I can. Hold on. On August 24th, 2016, around 4:35, officers were dispatched to 4701 Irving. Okay, so I made this video, and it's going to go over the... No, I haven't heard that. Yep, Bonnie, that's it. Victoria Martin. Yep, that's it. So I submitted a FOIA. I paid for some of it and got some of it. We're going to watch this video, and then we're going to try to do some of the interrogations, because I haven't got any like videos or audios yet. I've got to evidently buy them, even though I bought what I have. So we're going to start with the two police narratives. It's going to get you kind of into where we need to be. It's going to explain the story, and then we'll look at the interrogations. This case, the first time I heard it, I was like, that is the absolute worst case in human history I have ever heard of. And it is really bad. But there's a twist at the end that I didn't see coming. Hey, Alex and Super Row and Natalie. So I'm going to start on it today. Like I said, I need to get more of the details and more of the information. So I'm going to work on purchasing that from New Mexico. And this will be something we do over a period of time. But for now, I've got these two narratives. So we'll start with this. On August 24th, 2016, around 4:35, officers were dispatched to 4701. And again, I apologize, but let me know if that air is if that AC is too loud. It's really loud. So I wanted to make sure that y'all can hear. Hey, Edith, my love. Good to see you. Oh, today is Hio's birthday. Our lovely Hio Sandra. So if you see her walking around these YouTube streets, make sure you tell her happy birthday. On Irving Boulevard Northwest, number 808 and number 407, in reference to a disturbance. The anonymous caller told 911 operators that she lives in apartment number 407. She said her female and male neighbors from apartment number 808 had come to her home with injuries and told her they were attacked by their friend. I arrived on scene with Officer Inyert, and we approached apartment number 407 to speak with the caller and other subjects. The door was answered, the female caller, and she pointed me to a male and a female just inside her front door. The male had a black eye, and the female had a large cut to her forehead.
I then spoke to the female with the cut, who appeared afraid and was shaking. She stated that within the last few minutes, she was awoken by her friend Jessica. She said that Jessica had struck her in the head with an iron, but did not elaborate on what an iron was.
Now, I read that part and I was like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't know what a daggum iron was? Police? Hello? Hey, Tony and Sally. Okay, good. I'm hoping that it's not too loud. I changed it like this, so hopefully it won't be jumpy.
Jessica then asked her, "Do you believe in God?" and struck her several more times. The male subject with a black eye nodded in agreement as the female spoke, and he said that Jessica was still inside of their apartment, number 808, with their 10-year-old daughter. At this point, Officer Inyart and myself went to apartment number 808. As I approached the apartment, I walked up a flight of stairs on the outside. I got to the top of the stairs and observed a heavyset white female had opened the front door to apartment number 808. When I opened the door, I announced that we were the police. The female went inside the door, closed it, and I heard a clicking sound consistent with the door locking. I ran to the door and tried to open it. The door opened a few inches, but was held by a locking latch about 6 feet high on the other side. I then made announcements into the small opening that we were the police and called for Jessica to come and open the front door. While I continued to make announcements, I heard someone from the parking lot below yell, quote, "That's her," unquote.
Okay, so this video features footage from, I think it's gonna be in here somewhere, but I did just drop the news channel link so you can see that. Yes, there is a one-armed man. That is the somewhat of the twist at the end. Yeah, these girls, that girl Jessica, she is one demented individual.
Quote, I looked into the parking lot and observed the same white female who I saw open the front door. She was walking with a limp from around the north side of this apartment building. Officer Landavazzo was on scene in the parking lot at this time. I told him to detain the female in the blue shirt. When he approached the female and tried to put her in handcuffs, she pulled away and yelled at him. I then went to help Officer Landavazzo. He and Officer Inyart held the female's arms behind her back, and I placed her into handcuffs.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
I didn't do nothing.
Come here.
That's Jessica Kelly speaking to police in August 2016.
There's some that went down. No, I didn't do nothing. Hey, stop.
In the video, police confront Kelly, who is limping after jumping off a balcony.
Why'd you lock the door? Somebody just started a fire and went over the balcony, dude.
APD officers were there initially that night after a call about a fire at the apartment where Victoria Martins lived with her mother, Michelle, and her mother's boyfriend, Fabian Gonzalez.
What were you fighting about?
She woke up and asked where her daughter was.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where she's at, dude.
Okay. No, we got her. She's in another apartment.
Huh?
Did you hit her? Did you hit her?
Huh?
Did you hit somebody?
She hit me and I hit her back.
As one officer talks to Kelly to get...
Hey, Toxic, it's good to see you. Yeah, I've got quite a bit, but I'm looking for some more videos. No, actually, Stoic, I was reading through the police narratives last night from what, part of what I have, and one of the officers actually said that in one of their narratives that there was a kitten in the house, and he corralled was the word he used. He corralled it into a room so it wouldn't get hurt. So very much care was taken with the animals. Hey, Genevieve. Yeah, and then there was a fire. Oh, just wait. I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the hardest cases you've ever heard of. So, I mean, if you're faint of heart, this will not be the case for you.
Get her side of the story. A couple of other officers go into the apartment, not knowing what they'll find. When they finally come out, their demeanor is changed. They seem upset.
Put her in your car, man. You're going to walk.
Broken. I just got thrown off the balcony.
You didn't get thrown up. You jumped off. I saw you close the door.
The officers then get a call from dispatch.
Can you advise what we're looking at here? Male, female, class, breathing?
Walk.
No.
Female 10.
No.
Before they reach the officer's car, Kelly tells them there was another person with her in the apartment.
Who else was in the apartment with you? Where's the other guy? He took off. He started trying to wipe blood up. And I started panicking. Who's the other guy? I don't know his name. They call him Fote.
Officers on scene still had not found the 10-year-old female, and I was worried about her safety. At this time, I heard the fire alarm sounding from apartment number 808. I ran to the apartment with Officer Inyart, and the door was still locked. Fearing for the safety of the female child, who still may be inside the apartment, I used my feet to kick open the door and made entry into the apartment. I saw a kitchen to the immediate forward from the doorway. I then made my way to the right again and into a large bedroom. I did not see anyone in that large bedroom area. I then made my way into the bathroom attached to the large bedroom and did not see anyone inside. I then went back into the living room and went to a hallway opposite of the large bedroom.
Let me pause this and try to slow it down because it's not staying where it needs to be. Because I got the 3D layout and everything. Yeah, there's substances used, my love. I got Hooe helped me last night to get the virtual tour, and I have it lined up with my words. Like I was trying really hard with these videos, so I wanted it to be lined up. So we're gonna try this part again.
And into a large bedroom. I did not see anyone in that large bedroom area. I then made my way into the bathroom attached to the large bedroom and did not see anyone inside. I then went back into the living room.
It's delayed, so it'll be a little bit delayed on the video. I don't know why, something messed up or something, but anyway, you get a layout of the apartment here.
And went to a hallway opposite of the large bedroom.
So this is the large bedroom with the bathroom attached.
I went to the left and into a small bedroom. I did not see anyone inside of this room. I then went into the bathroom next to this bedroom.
Okay, this is where he comes out of the bedroom. He goes across the living room, and now we're about to go into the small bedroom.
Once inside the bathroom, I observed a female child wrapped in a blanket and on fire while lying in the bathtub.
Okay, so we're about to enter the bathtub, and you'll see where the child was found. Her name is Victoria Martins. I don't understand why this part's delayed. It really irritates me, and I'm going to have to fix it. So I do apologize against that. I mean, I apologize for that, not against that.
I asked Officer Inyart if he had a fire extinguisher in his car. I then went to the living room and found a blanket on the floor. I went back to the bathroom and I used my hands wrapped with the blanket to put out the fire surrounding the female. The female appeared unconscious and did not move. The skin on her right leg was blackened and appeared to be burned from the fire.
I'm giving y'all a heavy trigger warning.
Her leg appeared to have been severed and removed from her body at the middle of the thigh. I stepped into the living room area where there was less smoke and advised dispatch of the female and to have rescue arrive as quick as possible. I left the blanket on the floor in the bathroom and stepped out of the apartment at this time. I then met with Officer Landavazo and requested that he place the female in the blue shirt into his police vehicle. The female then stated that her leg was broken from jumping off the rear balcony of the apartment. I assisted Officer Landavazo with holding the female up by her arms and walked her to his vehicle. She said that her name was Jessica Kelly. She was placed into the vehicle. I had no further contact with Jessica, the female caller, or the female with the injury to her head, or the male with the black eye. I then spoke to Lieutenant Ong, who took over scene responsibilities at this time. He ordered me to block the entrance to the complex to the south at Ivering Boulevard Northwest. I remained at that post until I was relieved by Officer Harrison. I spoke to detectives from the Violent Crimes Unit and CACU to explain the above. I had no other...
CACU is Crimes Against Children Unit, I do believe. CACU, yeah, Crimes Against Children Unit. Bonnie said no, they made her walk. They obviously didn't think she really broke anything with what the road running. Yeah, she jumped out. Jessica Kelly jumped off a balcony, and you can see how high the steps are. Like they're going, hold on, so you can see my mouse. So they're walking up these steps, and I believe the apartment's right here. So if you look at the back and there's a balcony, she jumped from about this high down, probably on the concrete or something. There was a video of it, but I can't find it now. I remember seeing the video where she jumped. But she did break her ankle, and that was the only reason she wasn't able to run. See, this case is very hard to hear. It's the worst case I'd ever heard of, but it's got a lot of twists. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Teresa said, my heart goes out to the police as well as poor little Victoria, bless her. I know, it's so hard. It's hard to hear and to fathom.
Their involvement with the investigation of this case. On August 24th, 2016, around 4:35, officers were dispatched to 4701 Irving Boulevard.
I think it's Irvine. I think he pronounced it correctly for me yesterday, and I just wasn't able to do it after that. So this is the second police narrative.
Northwest, number 808 and number 407, in reference to a disturbance. The anonymous caller told 911 operators that she lives in apartment number 407. She said her female and male neighbors from apartment number 808 had come to her home with injuries and told her they were attacked by their friend. I arrived on scene with Officer Inyert, and we approached apartment number 407 to speak with the caller and other subjects. The door was answered, the female caller, and she pointed me to a male and a female just inside her front door. The male had a black eye, and the female had a large cut to her forehead. I then spoke to the female with the cut, who appeared afraid and was shaking. She stated that within the last few minutes, she was awoken by her friend Jessica. She said that Jessica had struck her in the head with an iron, but did not elaborate on what an iron was. Jessica then asked her, "Do you believe in God?" and struck her several more times. The male subject with a black eye nodded.
Hold on. It might be the same video again. I might have done it wrong. Yep. Dang it. I did it wrong. Okay. And I think I just deleted them off of my YouTube. So I'll work on getting this second video. See, I was up there messing with that tiller and trying to get everything ready. So they take them to the hospital. Let me make sure I don't have it. Nope, I don't. Okay, so that's a repeat of the video we just watched. So I'll tell you about the second video while I work on getting that together. Trying to do too many things at once with my squirrel brain, and I uploaded the same video back to back. All right, so in the second video, which I will put out, I'm going to work on like kind of deep diving this case with you guys and making the videos for it. On the second part, they talk about Jessica. It goes through kind of what she said to the police. I was trying to think if I could play it for you with just the audio, but they take them to two separate hospitals. Jessica indeed has a broken ankle. She calls one of the officers into her hospital bed and says, "Why am I here?" And the officer advised her of her Miranda rights and says, "I can't talk to you until a detective gets here." And she's continuing to try to get out of the bed. They take her for a CT scan and an x-ray and all of those things like that, find out that her foot is broken, and an officer sits with her there. And then Michelle is taken to a different hospital, Rust Presbyterian, I believe is the name of it. And she is treated for that cut that you see on her face where the stitches are. She has a laceration to the back of her head, on her pinky, on her neck, on a bunch of things. And Fabian and her are taken to a holding cell in the jail. Okay, and so now we're going to jump into the interrogations. I do need to tell you, if my stream goes down, I will be right back. Like I said, unfortunately, I have not been able to get them to send me audio, video, and pictures yet. They sent me 282 pages that are like police narratives so far. So we're going to borrow this from Real Criminal Psychology. They have the interview of Victoria and Fabian, which I had never seen the interview of Fabian. I was kind of trying to get it out first because I'd never seen it, but they have it, which I really appreciate. So I'm going to drop their links. If I get in trouble for playing it, I will stop playing it and I will be right back. Hopefully everything will be okay. I am going to use fair use. So now that we're caught up, you saw everything that happened. We're called up to, they're in jail. This is what the police have found, and they're being questioned. Jessica Kelly, I don't know if she's in this one or not.
Jessica was what happened, and Fabian was.
This is going to be Victoria and Fabian. Now, again, I'm going to... Oh, okay. Hold on a minute, sweetheart. I'm going to drop their links. I'm going to pin their link to the top of the comment section. If you have not subscribed to them, please do so. They're actually like a really cool channel. They have a lot of stuff like this. So if you're into like interrogations and things like that, definitely a good channel to check out. Let me pin this. Do I think the mother is mentally disabled? I do. And that is going to be a point of contention in this case, because it's been questioned. I do. And I have a reason for that. And when we get kind of towards the end of the case, I'm going to explain more of my reasoning for thinking that she's mentally disabled. Abella said, please, everyone, look after your mental health. Yes, please always look after your mental health. It keeps you healthy. Nightbot said, if this subject matter is triggering, please feel free to leave and come back another time. Protect your peace. This is going to get very graphic, very hard to hear. It's horrific. I mean, like, biggest trigger warning and flashing red and yellow lights that you ever seen in your whole entire life is what we need right now, okay? Because this is going to be hard.
Jessica's what happened, and Fabian was hurt.
Well, I did not kill that little girl.
I just want to know what you did.
I did not dismember it.
Did he penetrate Victoria with his...
Yes.
Would we find your DNA on Victoria?
No. Hell no. No, man. That's crazy, man.
This is 31-year-old Fabian Gonzalez, the boyfriend of Michelle Martins, whose interrogation was previously covered and shook everyone who watched the horrors of that case.
Now, these have been put out, like I said, on the channel Criminal Psychology, which I pinned their link at the top of the comment section. And I saw the interrogation. I heard the story. Like I said, I remember seeing Jessica jump off the balcony, and I was in complete and utter shock. But when you follow it all the way through to trial, there's some things that we learn that make it not quite, it kind of doesn't make sense. A lot of people are on the fence about it. Yes, he did say it. I did not kill it. He did, definitely. Yes. Please always remember Victoria Martins. She was such a sweet little girl. I've got actual pictures of the memorial they had outside of the apartment complex for her. It's a very sad case.
While Michelle's statements were disturbing, Fabian's interrogation takes this case to an even darker place.
At some point between that time when she was moved to the bathroom and when the officers arrived, Victoria was dismembered and cut up into pieces, and you were there.
Along with his cousin, Jessica Kelly, he played...
This girl is the personification of evil. She has an extensive criminal record. I think she was messing with some, what is the word? I don't know. I want to say cholos, but I don't think that's right. Some Spanish gangsters that were, I mean, and she was more messed up than they even were, if I had to guess. She is a real messed up person, this person right here. I think she was trying to be something that she wasn't, and she's like, her mind is so warped. Like the worst person I've ever seen in my life. And she doesn't look like she would be. She is the personification of evil, and she doesn't even look that evil. You know what I mean? Like, if you just saw her out at the grocery store, you would think she's just another person. Yeah, possessed by Satan. You think she looks evil, Tom? I think she looks like a normal person. I would never guess she was capable of the things that happened.
Played a key role in the brutal murder of 10-year-old Victoria Martins on her birthday. A crime so horrific, it still haunts the community of Albuquerque, New Mexico to this day. In the early hours of August 24th, 2016, a frantic 911 call from a neighbor led police to an apartment building on Irving Boulevard, but nothing could have prepared them for the horrors they were about to uncover. Inside the home where Michelle Martins lived with her 2 children, Victoria and Matthew.
You know what? Abella said reminds me of Shabusiness. She's worse than Shabusiness, believe it or not. You think you see evil? Fawny said, now those eyes, I'd run far away. I'll download. She doesn't notice me. And hope she doesn't notice you? Oh, yeah. Sally said she doesn't have any soul in her eyes. Okay, I will. Toxic, thank you. I remember this. Was Mom involved with the 2 cousins? She was somewhat involved, yes. She should not have had those children in her care. I'll say that to the end of this case, that those children should not have been in the care of Michelle. Oh,
Alongside
wow.
her boyfriend, Fabian Gonzalez, officers made a horrifying discovery. What they found was a scene straight out of a nightmare. The dismembered remains of a little girl lay scattered, a crime so gruesome it would soon make national headlines. As investigators placed together the twisted truth, 3 names emerged at the center of it all: Michelle Martins, Fabian Gonzalez, and Jessica Kelly. While Michelle and Fabian were being interrogated separately at the same time, one question loomed over everything. Why? Why would a man who was a father himself inflict such an unthinkable pain on a child he should have protected?
Yes, these people, I do believe all of them have children themselves. I'm pretty sure Jessica did, Michelle obviously did, and he obviously did. Had children all themselves, and they did this horrible thing. Sally said I was thinking the same thing. John B., good to see you. She was selling the little girl on Telegram. Yeah, I think there's an aspect of this that might have been going on. Genevieve said people need to realize how sadistic some of the cartel and newly recruited gang members really are. With Machete's dismemberment, all while victims are still alive. Yeah, some of those people don't play. It's a whole different world. Hey, Justice Jane. I'll never understand why these horrible things are done to children. Because they're vulnerable, because they're innocent, because it's easy to control them. But why? What kind of evil do you have to be to do? Ugh, God almighty. Yes, the classic one. They shouldn't have had children. They should not have.
His attitude, excuses, and sheer lack of remorse will leave everyone outraged and disgusted.
So, is there a way that we and Michelle could kind of talk to you at the same time, in the room? So we could
No, like I said, there's some detectives talking to her. So, in order to make sure we get everybody's story right.
The only reason why I'm saying that is because us together could explain how you didn't hear it and how she's going still up there.
So let me explain this. If you guys are both telling the truth, then the stories will be exactly the same. You have nothing to worry about. Okay, Fabian. Based on some information we've got from other detectives who are still out there, from your old lady, we have some other things that have kind of come up that aren't making sense. Those we want to talk to you about. Okay. Mm-hmm. Are you doing okay, bro? Did you get some water?
Yeah.
Was that? What'd you eat, dude? Was it?
Yeah, the Hooe bar or whatever.
It's kind of gross, huh?
Yeah.
I had one taste.
I like how I've noticed with these, in particular, detectives, they approach each one of the suspects very nice and caring. And I think they got somewhere with that. I think they got them to talk more. Genevieve said chemically driven occultists. They were on methamphetamine. Yep.
Tastes like cardboard.
Yeah.
I like them.
It was pretty gross.
They're not that good. I really don't like them. I say it because I get hungry, man.
Okay, so
I haven't eaten for like 10 hours, so.
Hey, I think
I'm not even really hungry. I just had my stomach just
unsettled.
This just doesn't feel. It just feels like it's a nightmare. It just doesn't feel real, guys. This really doesn't.
Yeah.
Fabian claims he hasn't eaten in 10 hours, describing it as a nightmare. Yet his self-pity starts here, while the true nightmare was Victoria's.
Now, I noticed that he said something to the effect of I'm just really worried or something like that. And that's interesting because Jessica Kelly, throughout being questioned, and when the police come, she says, I'm just really scared, guys. I'm just really scared. Susie Silly, good to see you. Susie said, what a beautiful little girl, wasn't she? She's absolutely precious. He's shirtless because Jessica Kelly came into him and Victoria's room, supposedly per what he says, that she came in and they were laying down just trying to go to sleep, and basically she started beating the crap out of him. Jessica said to Michelle, do you believe in God? And then just started beating her with the iron, and he was trying to stop Jessica, but there's some things that happened in between there that he doesn't really want to admit to. Yeah, Amanda, I definitely get it. It's graphic and hard. So if anybody needs to leave, please do. I don't want you to stay. If it's this case will stick with you. Like I'm telling you, it's so bad that I debated on whether to even do this on YouTube. I was planning on doing it on Patreon because it's so bad. So I'm just telling y'all, like, I can't express any more of how bad this is going to be.
But we're trying to figure out exactly what happened because, like we said before, I think Victoria deserves that.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, anybody deserves that, but especially a little girl, you know?
To me, this is, I would have never thought ever in my whole life would I be in something like this, ever.
So Fabian, just off the top, we're going to ask you this. We obviously have Victoria's body, okay?
Okay.
Victoria belonged to Michelle, the girl that was getting beat in the face with the iron, and the one you saw that had stitches going across the bridge of her nose. It is, Alex. I never did that. I've had a past, and I've talked about that. Uppers were never my thing, so I've never done it. But I've heard that it is the devil incarnate, and I've also heard people say that they'll put stuff in it to make you like flip out, and like, I mean, it's the personification of evil. It's horrible. I wish that they could get it off the streets. Bonnie said, "Thank you for covering this. I wanted this for Noah McKinte. So many unanswered questions. I'll look into that. Oh, toxic. I forgot. I'll check my DMs. But the public needs to see, hear, and know what's going on out there, as horrible as it is. I agree, the classic one. Hey, Mercedes. Is this the one that when he is done destroying the child, him and the mother? Yep. That's this one. Yeah. Can we be put together so our lives match up? Exactly.
Can I ask you this real quick? Where did you find it?
Okay, so we can get into that. We have Victoria's body. Now, we're going to do a bunch of tests and stuff. We'll collect a bunch of evidence from her body, okay? Mm-hmm. We can tell what kind of things were used to injure her, how she died, if something happened to her, what injuries she sustained before she died.
Maybe if they suffocated, if she suffocated or something, that's why we didn't hear, maybe. That's probably the only real thing I can think of right now, because I would have heard it and I would have got up and did the same thing I done for Michelle when she was trying to get her. You know what I mean?
And so we'll be able to tell that. Did Victoria suffocate?
I don't know. Okay? I do not know if she suffocated. I don't know. All I know is what you guys just told me now, that her leg, whatever, got cut off or whatever.
So let me get back to what I was talking about.
Okay. I should have been able to hear it, but I didn't hear it. I'm telling you, I'm okay.
Let me get back to what I'm talking about, and it'll clarify some stuff. Okay.
So I'll tell you kind of what the story is. What his story is going to be is that they saw Jessica carrying Victoria down some stairs, and then at some point they put her in the bathtub and started to dismember her. Michelle's story is going to be very different and very graphic. She's going to suggest that a lot of things were done to Victoria before she deceased. The truth is a mixture between the two. Things were done to her before she was deceased, but it involves other people. It's crazy. I don't know how else to describe it right now.
We'll be able to tell if there's injuries on her body, if they were sustained before she died. We'll be able to tell how she died and then what injuries she sustained after she died, okay? So that'll help us out. We will also be able to tell who's touched her.
Yeah, I want you guys to very much.
If who she touched.
Yep.
We can see if she scratched somebody, if she grabbed somebody's hair, if there's hair or clothes on her. There's all kinds of stuff, right? You've seen TV. There's all kinds of.
Yeah, so I want this to all.
Okay, so here's the question I have to ask you because of that. Because we're gonna get those tests back.
Okay, that's fine.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
My question just flat out. If for what reason would we find your DNA on Victoria, on her body, on her clothes, or even inside of her body? And I know that sounds horrible, but I have to ask the question.
No. Hell no. No, man. That's crazy, man.
Hey, Lisa Lynn. Toxic said, all I can do is just shake my head. I simply can't form words what these animals did. And animals is the wrong word as they don't do this stuff. Exactly. Yep. Indy, my love, this happened August 24th or 26th of 2016. Teresa said, this punk looks like he wears training bra. It does. You can see the outline of a wife beater. That's what he wears all the time, a wife beater. Okay.
I know you have to ask that question.
Yeah, you just have to ask.
No damn way.
Any reason I'm going to find any of your DNA in her fingernails from her fighting with you or scratching you?
Nope. Just telling you right now, that's the only one I can think of right now because she's the one that wouldn't try to do that to us. She tried killing us for Christ's sakes. I wouldn't do something like that to nobody, no matter what situation or what. I just never even thought like that. I don't have it in me. Okay, I would never do something like that. I just don't got it in me. I'm not built like that. I never have.
But you don't have it in you, but you saw, I mean, at some point you were aware that Jessica Kelly had this child in a bathtub and was dismembering her, and you knew that, and you did what? Help? You didn't call 911. I know that for a fact. Hey, NHS. Yeah, that tan line is horrifying. Bellis, thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I really appreciate that so very much. Let me see if I can, yep. Those went to Alyssa Harkritter, Sergio Ortiz, Froggy 1369, HPWX, Survivor Michelle, Diane, Tanya T, Darlene Spencer, Kathy Burrell, Fluzzy B, Chrissy Reamer, Esther Hahn, Linda Hutcherson, SD, Carmel Frapp, Shadow, Urban Trails, Melissa Hartland, and I can't tell. It's a FASTNCURIOUS in really cool writing. So if you were gifted from Abellis and you are aware you were gifted, please tell her thank you. And that was so sweet of you, Sabellis. Abellis, thank you so much for being so very supportive of this channel and our Speculating family. I will play the Polar Express to come pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so very much, Abellis. I can't express my appreciation for that. Okay, somebody asked what Matthew and Victoria, Matthew's father's name is Jason, Oetting. I just found it in my documents. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to tell you. Victoria's father, I don't know, and I can't remember, unfortunately, and I should have known that, and I don't, so I apologize about that. Linda said, unfortunately, there's a high demand for this where money is being made, even to people that you wouldn't expect. Yeah, there's a lot more to the story than I think we will ever know. Hey, Darlene, good to see you.
I did.
Okay. I feel you, man. Absolutely.
For me to have to go through this as a person, as an individual, not knowing that this was going to happen at all whatsoever, not being able to notice. You don't know how I feel.
How do you feel? Tell me.
I want to be. I want. I just feel like it's seems real.
Now I question his mental capabilities when I hear him talk. He sounds like he's got a lisp. I don't know. There's something going on. I mean, the graphic nature of this crime it would put anybody into shock, but I don't know. It sounds like there's something else going on. Hooe is spending time with her family today because it is her birthday. So if you see her, make sure you tell her happy birthday. He is playing the victim. Absolutely, Tom. Hey, Melvin. Melvin said the craziness is the ridiculous sentences they all got. Something went wrong. Yeah, their sentences did not reflect the gravity of this crime at all. Right, Jen?
His voice noticeably changes when Corey asks about Victoria, but what he doesn't realize is that the detectives are already one step ahead. While Fabian fakes emotion, Michelle exposes the truth in the other room. As she shares key details, the detective ensures her words are passed along through text messages to the other detective.
Melvin, he is coming down hard, and to come down hard, like in jail, Jesus. I mean, as soon as you get in trouble, you like snap and you're sober. It sucks. Mallory, thank you so much for the super chat. That was so very sweet of you. And Mallory shared 8 hearts for Victoria, and I appreciate that, and I know she does too. Hopefully she's looking down from heaven. And like I say with Maddie, you know, it's horrific that their names are known because of what happened to them, but at least their names are known and their pictures are out here and they will never be forgotten. And by talking about these things, we're still keeping their memory alive. Shadow, thank you for saying thank you. Carolina, good to see you. Sizzy, good to see you. And Cajun Juju, good to see you. Thank you again, Mallory, for that. That was so sweet of you. We'll leave that up for a few minutes.
Thus, these two female detectives were seen texting each other to stay updated on the claims both Fabian and Michelle were making. With each message exchanged, they tighten the noose, turning Fabian's own lies against him before he even realizes it.
Just why I didn't hear, why, how I didn't know. That's what I'm mad about. That's what I'm really mad about. How the hell did I not know or hear? I've never been in something like that.
I believe you. I think if you could have stopped whoever it was that killed Victoria, if you could have stopped him, I believe you would.
I would have.
Okay.
I would have tried my best. Not saying that I would have, but I would have tried my best.
So when I asked you about taking a shower, I don't know why you don't want to answer that for me, and you're telling me about the sprinklers, but let me just explain something.
I told you that morning when I got ready.
Yeah.
But I was in my pajamas when I woke up, and she woke us up and did all that, okay?
You should have, if you didn't shower, a lot of blood on your smears, and your nails are very clean.
I was cleaning them in there, just trying to get them out, but what I'm saying.
I'm noticing that he's not crying and upset anymore at all. I don't know if they flipped to another part of the interrogation because I've not seen it, but he just snapped out of that so quick. M Show, good to see you. And I saw that, I think Elizabeth Lander, you're here. You might have been here earlier, but yep, that tone change. Yep. Southern Cat said spawn of Satan. Really? That is so awesome. Well, congratulations to your niece. Congratulations to your niece. That's so awesome. Elizabeth shared her member for 2 months milestone. That was so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. She said, I'm so proud of you. You're doing great. Oh, thank you. It's only because of you guys, though. I could talk to myself, for hours upon hours. Without you guys, I'd be nothing. So thank you guys. Hey, Anchovy Fish. I'm glad you caught alive. Good to see you. Dainty Dang, good to see you.
Saying is I ran through the sprinkler that was soaking wet when I knocked on that door.
Well, isn't the apartment that you went to, it's right next to yours. It's in that court. So
yes, but when I jumped off, I ran at the back of the ground because I was scared. I didn't know if she had people, she threatened me, saying that they're coming for me. They should be there for me any minute.
She told me that's scary. That scared me too, okay? Along with everything else. So I ran in the back and sprinklers were all on and I was just running through the whole sprinklers all the way around just to see if she had someone waiting for me.
Fabian was indeed scared of getting caught. Before fleeing the apartment, he made sure to erase any traces of the crime he'd inflicted on Victoria. And it doesn't take a detective to see that there were no sprinklers, just a man desperately trying to cover his tracks. But when he tries to divert attention with a wild story about Jessica going bonkers and hitting Michelle with an iron, Fabian makes a critical slip.
Like, to tell you the truth.
So I read the transcripts of part of one of his interviews, and I remember them talking about him lying so much. So it's interesting to see him get caught in some of these lies, because from what I know so far, most of the story is true except for some of the involvement and some of the things Michelle says.
The truth, when
right?
She woke us up and told us that weird thing.
So hard to see things.
And then started attacking Michelle when Michelle said that. I'm going to tell you, be honest right now, I don't know if there was blood in there, but I know when I went to bed, the kitchen was clean.
What boy? You made my heart drop, because I was like, I hope my son wasn't on here. He has no access to my account. You're talking about Grish? I saw that he was on last night, and I wanted to go in, but I was sleeping because I knew I had to get up until today. Is that who you were talking about? I saw that he was live. Linda said that poor me song and dance. Absolutely. And that's all it is. Yep, Grish. Yeah, make sure you guys check out Grish. He does some really interesting videos.
Okay. That's what I know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But because I was everywhere, I was trying to, like, you know what I mean? And I wasn't paying attention, you know what I mean? But I know when she was hitting Michelle, right there, there was blood coming from Michelle. There had to have been there. I've seen it, you know what I mean? Coming when she was hitting her. It was all over Michelle.
So let's focus on that for a minute, because it was something.
So then maybe I was like, then that's when Jessica's like, wow, we cleaned this blood up. We're like, wow, okay, we're scared. We were scared for our lives.
So let's talk about that for a second, because that's something that I'm very confused about.
Okay. Me too.
Is you guys are fighting in the kitchen. Michelle's bleeding on the kitchen floor.
As we're fighting.
Hang on. Just let me explain to you how I understand what you've told it to me, and then you can clarify for me.
Okay.
And maybe we.
So, and one of the things he says that Jessica comes in the room while they're trying to sleep and basically says, do you believe in God? And starts beating the shit out of them. And now he's in the kitchen. So I'm wondering, again, like, how many lies is he going to tell? John B. said, no, he instantly snapped out of fake crying to defend himself aggressively about Spring because it places him near that shower. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Tom said all the monsters play the victim card after they're caught. They really do. And it's like, I mean, because they have no sympathy for the victim. They didn't care about the victim to begin with, or else they wouldn't have done what they did. Like, I'll never understand it, but it's because these monsters only care about themselves. Did I misread it, sweetheart? He said, no, he instantly jumps off of fake crying to defend himself about showering. Yep. Playing catch up, but I'm not too sure what this is about. This is the Victoria Martins case. It's really horrific. Like, the worst case that I've ever seen in my life. So I'm just warning you. It's from 2016.
We can go back and forth, because what you've told me so far doesn't make any sense to me, okay? In the midst of all this craziness and irons and fist punches and scratches and threats, and you guys are scared for your life, and this chick's acting a fool, all of a sudden she stops and says, let's clean up some blood.
No,
hang on. So let me just, that's how it's playing in my mind based on what you told me. And so that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would homegirl be tripping as hard as she is, and then all of a sudden say, well, help me clean up blood?
No, she's like, help me clean up this blood. And then we're like, okay, we'll just keep us going, don't stop. Because I was, in my mind, I'm like, I'm calling the cops, you're going down, this is crazy, you're trying to kill us. You know what I mean? So I went to the door, ran to the door to try to open it, get it open, and at least just have it open or something, so someone could, like, at least see something, that this is going on, and I'm trying to stop it. And that Jessica has so much strength, I'm telling you, usually I couldn't, it was hard to try to, you know what I mean?
She's got so much strength because of that pure adrenaline and those substances running through her body. I think it was Linda who asked about Matthew, the young boy. Matthew is okay. I've got the interview they did with him, but he was 8 years old at the time, so I doubt I'll release that. I don't know. Like, I've got the transcripts. I thought about going over it, but I'm not sure because he was 8 years old at the time. I don't know because Michelle alleges some things happened to him when we get to her interview, but I don't know if everything she said was true. That's the issue with this case. It kind of goes over false confessions, and when you go to court, you get more of an idea of kind of like the gravity of her mental state and what could have happened. There's a lot of questions left in this case. But Matthew is doing okay from what I know.
So you said earlier that either, and I could be getting this wrong, but one of you, either you or Michelle, did start to clean up blood.
Michelle was starting to help her, and then
Let's go back to when she says, let's clean up the blood. At the moment that she said that, did she point to a specific spot of blood?
no,
Or
it's just
indicate anything specific?
she was all, look, come here, baby, and I was like, no, I'm getting out of here, and then so she grabbed me and tried to grab me and hit me on my leg, and I was like, no, I was like, ouch, and then Michelle was just sitting there, so bleeding everywhere, like, Jessica, help, and I was saying it too, help, Jessica, you're crazy. And then after she thought, God told me to, and like to say weird stuff, and I was like, what the hell?
So then who wiped up?
It's going to be loud for just a second because I'm getting some coffee. But yeah, it's alleged that Jessica was like kind of out of her mind. I mean, obviously, like if you're grabbing a freaking iron to iron clothes and smacking somebody in the face with it and saying, do you believe in God? I mean, obviously her intent was to kill Michelle. Like this girl has absolutely lost it. Is it because of the substances? Is it because she didn't have it to begin with? Like there's lots of questions.
The blood, and where did they wipe it?
I just seen Jessica wiping it on the floor like that.
When was that?
That was when, after she started hitting her, that was the thing, and I tried to escape. And then after that, went to the front door, she kind of got me and was trying to do that like that and that at the same time, you know? And Michelle was sitting there in shock.
Hang on, time out.
Standing there in shock, trying to help, you know what I mean?
Hang on, time out. You want me to believe, just so I'm clear, that Jessica is bending down, wiping blood on the floor, and at the same time is strong enough to keep you from opening the front door?
Well, she was doing that, yeah, I was scared. I didn't know she had to, because she kept telling me that they're coming for me too, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, I was scared. I shouldn't have been scared or something, but I was scared.
I'm not saying it's bad to be scared, bro.
Okay, this is going to bring up a question for me. So you got this girl that's your cousin. Hey, Kelly Fields. You have this girl that's your cousin that comes in and she's out of her freaking mind. Y'all been doing substances, okay? Let's just say that for the sake of argument, let's just say that they were all three doing methamphetamine. And you're in your room chilling with your girl. You're having relations, making tacos, things like that. And then your cousin comes in and is like flipping out and beating people up and like, do you believe in God and all of that? And there is a child in the house that's deceased in the bathtub. What do you do at that point? Are you going to call law enforcement? Are you going to be freaking out because Jessica's there right now? She's on substances and has already committed one homicide, and you're possibly next. There's substances in the house. You're on substances. Like, that's a hard place. I mean, obviously it's a hard place to be in, but what would the decision then be? All of us, I mean, the right decision is to immediately call 911. If they had, would Jessica have killed them too in the process? I mean, I don't know. I damn sure wouldn't be helping to cut up a child. I know that. Hannah said, stop allowing children to be hurt, world. If anyone has to be hurt, those in prison, leave our kids alone. I agree. Yes, there's tacos. The child was deceased in the bathtub and they go to make tacos and they eat tacos. His tan looks like he's wearing a woman's bathing suit. Yeah, I think it's definitely the outline of a wife beater or a bra, says very much a lady. Good to see you, love. Real quick, Teresa said, I seen the story of Tori. So sad. All those poor kids being tortured is heartbreaking. It is. Hey, Ever Love Me. Ever Love Me said, evil is real. Yep. And then Abella said Michelle Rafferty and Terry Lynn McGlintick monsters. Terry is the one who unalived Tori. I'll have to look into that case. Justice Jane would call law enforcement, call 911 like most of us. Kelly Fields said he's a man, a very scary man at that. He wants us to believe he was scared. Give me a break. Right? Right.
I was hella scared, man. So I didn't know whether, so I was like acting like I wasn't gonna go for the door, but I was. But then she was like, no, stop that. I'm trying to grab me and this and that. And like, that's when Michelle was just standing there like, oh my God, Kelly stabbed me, you know. I know, it was crazy.
What was Michelle so scared?
And then that's when she got up again. Jessica said, she stopped like trying to do that, you know, whatever. Because I started to go up to the patio because she wasn't letting me out right to the front door, you know. So that's when she followed me, and that's when I finally she started hitting Michelle again, and that's when I said, no, stop, quit, please, somebody help, we can't be yelling, me and Michelle, we can't be yelling. Jessica wasn't yelling for some reason. It was me and Michelle yelling for help, you know. And so that's when I ended up just grabbing the iron from her. I ran back to the patio, and then she rushed me, and she's like, you better get in there, I'm gonna hit you, and I tried to hit me and fight me for it. And I just...
So who believes that somebody who's actively in a fight with you is going to say, you better get down, I'm going to hit you? Like, I don't think that they would. I don't see that as plausible. Carolina said, supposedly Jessica blamed a fictitious drug dealer. The three were high on meth. Jessica had just been released from prison for sexual assault of a minor and aggravated battery charges. Yes, ma'am, you are correct. And thank you for dropping that truth bomb for us. Hey, Content Angel, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, it must have been taco night. Now, what I'm going to talk about real quick is the neighbor who called 911, where they ran to Fabian and Michelle ran to the neighbor's house and had the neighbor call 911. They go back and interview the neighbor, and the neighbor testifies or says basically in the interview, in the transcripts, that she heard them say, I think they killed her. I think she killed her. Now the neighbor's hearing them say this while they're standing outside on a patio smoking a cigarette. The neighbor heard them say to each other, I think she killed her. And then there's more fighting going on. And the cops are called within it's either like in the next few minutes or within the next couple of hours. I can get those. The neighbor testifies to hearing them playing music, fighting, arguing, smoking a cigarette, and saying, I think she killed her, and then fighting again, all between the hours of 1:20 a.m. and 3:40 a.m. Mercedes said, I never thought I could actually kill another human, not even in self-defense, and then I spent some time in the Ukraine and saw some things, and I was grateful I wasn't issued a firearm. Oh, my goodness. That's crazy. It was a horrible case. Hey, a small weed. All right, I just jumped down, so I missed probably quite a few.
I said, no. And I threw her. She goes, why did you do that? I was like, what? And then she just lost it. And then that way, I guess, to go chase Michelle again. And that's when I said, I'm jumping off the balcony. I'm getting help no matter what. Even if I break my whatever, I'm jumping off this. I'm going to go get help.
Filling in unnecessary details that no one asked for is the number one red flag. Even with his frantic gestures, he can't manipulate the detectives, making them think that his story is worth buying. Rather, in this attempt, he is only making things worse for himself.
So I got a question for you. At about 3 or 4 in the morning, roughly, and maybe the time's off a little bit.
Okay.
You and Michelle go out the front door to the apartment, and you're talking.
Go out to the front door of the apartment. We're talking. No way. Yeah. Oh,
do you remember that?
Oh no, that Michelle ran out. That was the time. That was like around the time that I think I got finally help, and I tried to ask that lady, and then I went to the other place.
Where were
Melissa,
you?
I saw that you came in and said thank you for the membership. I appreciate you doing that. That was so sweet of you. Toxic said they are all liars, and they are. A small weed, good to see you. I thought I said hey to you, but if I didn't, good to see you. Good to see you. Toxic said, this guy can't even speak in coercive or cohesive sentences. He didn't go for help, and that at the bottom of at the end of the day, that's the bottom of the line. He didn't go for help. Why not?
You, when Michelle said, I think she killed my daughter.
I was, we were over there at the 407 already waiting for the cops.
There is a neighbor who says that you and Michelle, they saw you walking out of the apartment. It was about 3 or 4 in the morning. That you didn't even jump off the balcony, or maybe you did and went back up there.
No.
And they see you coming out of the apartment.
Never went back up there. I was scared for my life.
Okay.
That's how I got. I ran through the sprinklers. You didn't even check the sprinkler time. I ran through the sprinklers.
So neighbor sees you coming out of the apartment together with Michelle at the same time. When was that?
Me and Michelle? What did they say we did? I don't know.
Well,
a neighbor heard that day to my brothers?
No. Like this morning.
He said, what did the neighbors say we did? Like, what do you know? Like Jennifer Soto, fishing for information. What do you already know? What did they tell you? Sir, you're not privy to that information. You tell us your story, not we tell you ours.
Oh, that's when she ran to me. She was all big. That's when she was all bloody and just she finally got away from Jessica.
Fabian, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Okay? I'm going to try not to hurt your feelings.
It's fine. But
I'm going to lay it out for you. I'm going to be perfectly blunt. Not going to beat around the bush.
The thing is, how could a neighbor say we got out 3 or 4 that me and Michelle, we went out of the apartment? I don't understand.
I'm just telling you what people said, but let me tell you.
It's weird.
Like I said, let me just explain to you.
Because we got woke up, that fight happened, and I remember, like, I told you exactly the stories, and I told you exactly what happened.
Linda, that is up for debate. Linda said, I may have missed this, but who actually unallowed Victoria? That's up for debate. We know for a fact that Jessica Kelly was involved in the main one. That's about all we know. Toxic said that's the typical thing they all do. Yes, they do. And Linda, I mean, remember that she had just gotten out of prison. I think it was like 2 weeks or just a couple of days before she comes to the apartment for sexual assault of a minor charges. Like, that girl was something else. Bazard, good to see you. Hate to say this, but it reeks of multiple adults, including mom, clearly abusing children, both trigger warning, sexually and physically. And yeah, let that sink in. Too many cases like this one. Yeah. At the end of the day, regardless of the situation, Michelle should not have had custody of those children, because I mean, there's just so much. Indy said, it's been going on forever. We just hear about it now. Carolina said, Jessica was the only one who jumped off the second floor balcony. In the end, we will never know the truth of which one actually killed Victoria. My bet is Jessica. I think so too. You know, I've noticed that though. I know you're not being funny. M. Shaw said, not being funny, but thank God there's not much of this going on in the UK. Always seems to be the USA. I've noticed how we have a lot more crimes here in the USA. I wonder if it's kind of the same everywhere, and maybe a lot's kept under like guard, or it's not as publicly televised. But I have noticed that too. And no, I don't. I get what you're saying completely.
Trying to get away. Couldn't get away.
Are you a strong guy? You a tough guy? Kind of, do you think of yourself as a manly, tough guy?
Shut up. I mean, yeah, but that's like with a guy, or if I'm getting jobs or something like that, you know what I mean? But like with that, I don't
mean physically. I mean, do you feel that you're the type of man that likes to protect his girlfriend or protect the children? You're the man of the house.
Well, yeah, of course.
You got some cojones.
That's why I got up right away and tried grabbing Jessica, but
okay.
I thought.
So let me tell you what I am seeing, looking in. Okay? Nothing personal.
And I got scared, yeah.
I don't want to hurt your feelings, but listen to me. Okay? Right now, looking in, I don't see that. Okay? I see a guy who, and you've only really known each other for 3 weeks. Really? Yeah, it was a good 3 weeks. But like,
so she's referencing Michelle. He had only been with Michelle for like 3 weeks and was already, he had only known her for 3 weeks and was already living with her. Tom said he's as soft as Charmin. And when you said that, I pictured that bear in my mind wiping his butt with the Charmin. Southern Cat said, what unallowed her was probably a little of everything, all three done, in my honest opinion. I agree. Southern Cats, I agree. I think the main person was Jessica Kelly, but it was a lot of things. Toxic said population is a big factor, but crime in Canada, we don't hear about it as much. We're told this happened when they go to court and when they've been found guilty or not. That's it. Oh, really? That's interesting. That's interesting. Nanny Go, good to see you. Nanny Go says statistically it's probably closer. USA is much bigger than the UK in size and population. Plus, UK doesn't have the same freedom of press as the USA does. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with it and thinking of. Hey, Sharada, and I'm sorry, I have no idea how to say your name, but hello, it's good to see you.
Like, do you really love her in 3 weeks? And she's already letting you.
Wasn't in them yet, but
Michelle's already letting you sleep in her bed, and she has kids. I mean, how many other guys does she have that are romping in the sack in her apartment? I mean, I think hold on, let me talk. Now it's my turn to talk. Okay, I'm just saying, Michelle should set a good example for her kids. And so if she lets you sleep over there, how many other guys is she letting sleep over there?
I mean, I thought that in my head too.
You what?
I thought that in my head too. Right? I didn't make it a big problem.
So do you really have a lot of respect for her? Because if she's sleeping with you that quick, how much is she, banging other guys?
That didn't matter to me, and I trusted her word. But I would, of course, remember I was going to think that because how would you just
So now there's kids, right? There's kids in the apartment. Not setting a good example. There's a guy sleeping in her bed. New guy. No, Victoria
and Matthew never told me that there was been other guys. I've never heard that from them.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, this is what kids are going to see growing up. So
Matthew is her son, and Matthew has stated that there was other guys there. Veronica, good to see you. Indy said, I went to college in Denmark and Switzerland. In Denmark, murders happened, but were never publicized or known to the public. That's interesting. Sharada, because he got beat up and then they pulled him in. This is a horrible case for anybody coming in. Heavy trigger warning. And this is from this video that we're watching right now is going to be from Real Crime Psychology. So if you have not subscribed to them, please do. They have a lot of awesome interrogations.
And
she told me that. Okay. She hasn't been with the guy for almost a year or whatever for a long time.
I'm just saying that's just So
I believe it. I mean,
But you're describing to me that you guys have had a great relationship. Yeah. Well, it's a 3-week relationship. Okay, so given that, and given that you've only known Victoria for 3 weeks, and you say she loves you, does she really love you? Because she doesn't really know you.
What her mom would say, my kids are really cool with you.
She probably thinks you're great.
Yeah,
but does she love you?
But I'm not expecting real love. I mean, love me as a person, okay? And then slowly, as we stay together long enough, get to love me like that. That's what I mean.
What the female detective did here is a commonly used interrogation technique known as ego downplaying. By suggesting that Fabian might have wanted to protect Victoria, she fed into his male ego. However, she quickly shattered it by revealing that he was no more special than anyone else, pointing out how his girlfriend, Michelle, had already slept with many men and brought them home. But the interesting part is yet to come, and Fabian is in for a surprise.
The fact that you're getting...
So, Michelle has some mental issues, and I think that she was... I don't know. So there's some stories about her possibly going on Telegram and getting with guys, and these guys have the specific intent to harm Victoria. You will later hear in this case from Michelle that she had an ex-boyfriend and she caught that man kissing Victoria on her couch, and she immediately called the police. So you have things like that, but then you have times where you hear from the son and daughter that they were abused. At the end of the day, she was on dating sites and things like that. But if they asked her questions like, do you have children? Do you have any little girls in the house or things like that? She might not have picked up on the fact of like what they were doing. She might not have seen the hints because she's not mentally there.
and you're beat by some chick up in the apartment, and you run off and leave a little girl and your girlfriend in the apartment with a crazy chick with a freaking iron.
See, I didn't know if there was any more people there. That's why I just wanted to hurry up.
So you were looking after your own. So what I'm saying now is freaking be a man and tell, because this is what I'm gonna say. Like I said, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I want you to be a strong enough man to say, I'm not gonna let her hurt my feelings. I'm gonna tell her what really happened, because you're full of, okay? No offense. The story that you're giving isn't matching up to our scene. If we can explain it, it makes sense. It doesn't mean you're in trouble or did anything wrong. I'm not personally judging you. I could give two. Okay, but I'm telling you what it looks like and what it's going to look like to anybody else. So we need to just explain everything. And what you're telling us, it's not matching up.
Okay, so what's not matching up now?
Well, let's start with this, Fabian. We're talking to your girl right now.
Okay.
And you said at any point tonight, did you go into Victoria's room? Did you look in there, open the door? Did you ever go into Victoria's room?
No.
Okay.
No.
So right off the bat, either you or Michelle is full, because according to Michelle, the fight that you're describing with you, Jess, and Michelle did take place in the kitchen.
Remember, I told you after the kitchen, that's when she was trying to yell for Victoria to try to check on her too. It's recorded. I said that.
No, remember? You said that you guys were yelling for Victoria and that you never could go over there because Jess was in the room. According to Michelle.
So Jess is in the room. At some point during this whole ordeal or during the day, Jess is left alone with Victoria. Jess is the one that picked Victoria up from the bus stop, okay? And Jessica is Fabian's cousin, okay? And she's just gotten out of prison for sexual assault on a child. And Fabian and Michelle are at Fabian's uncle's house getting some pot to smoke, okay? Supposedly, and I think they already had the meth, or Jessica had brought the meth or something to that effect. So Jessica gets Victoria off the bus. Victoria goes to the neighbor's house to play with their kids for a little while and then goes home. And Jessica is left alone with Victoria for an extensive amount of time after having just gotten out of prison for sexual assault charges. I agree. Children crimes happen everywhere, and I don't want anybody to argue. I think that there's crime in all of the all over the world. Unfortunately, some places it is worse than others, but I don't want y'all to argue about it. So if it becomes a point of contention, let's just stop talking about all of that. And if you don't mind, please hit the thumbs up because it helps me get out into the algorithm. Thank you. I appreciate it. Tom said that poor little girl never stood a chance. Right. And it astonishes me that they knew, especially Fabian, if nobody else, that she had just gotten out of jail for sexual assault charges, and they leave this minor child in her care. Me too.
Michelle, you three were fighting physically in Victoria's bedroom. All three of you, all inside the bedroom. In the bedroom.
By the door.
No, in the bedroom. So that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, well,
so listen to me. I'm not asking. Listen to me. I'm not asking you to talk. I'm letting you know. You asked me what are the differences. So I'm telling you. So every time you interrupt me, I can't tell you what the difference is, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying. Listen to me. Stop. Do you want to know when you interrupt me every 2 seconds? You want to know what that looks to me like?
Yeah.
You're being deceptive. You're lying because you can't wait to explain every little bit to me because you're scared of the truth and you know the truth. Because everything that I'm saying that conflicts in your brain with what really with what really happened, you have to explain away right away. You have to let me know right away what's happening. So every time you interrupt me, I think you're lying to me. So let's just be quiet for a second and I can explain some stuff to you. Okay? Do you understand? Okay. So either you or Michelle is lying to us. Because according to Michelle, the fight that you're describing happened in Victoria's room at some point during the fight, and you were there. You were in the bedroom.
Yes, I was trying to pull Jessica off.
So you were
in. She was
hang on. So answer me this: yes or no? You were in Victoria's bedroom tonight.
I went.
Yes or no? You were in you
pulling Jessica off and trying to break up the fight.
I don't want an explanation. Yes. You were in Victoria's room
trying to break up the fight.
So the answer
cousin off her.
Okay. So why
Bazard said, thank you so much for the support. That was so very sweet of you. I really appreciate that. Bazard sent a super chat that said these three need a visit to the woods. They do. And they don't need my kind of visit to the woods where I just enjoy nature. They need a taken out back and fed to the pig farm.
Let's go back for the last 2.5 hours we've been together.
Right, Michelle?
Why have you lied to us this whole time and insisted that at no point did you ever open the door to Victoria's room or go in Victoria's room, and now you're saying you were in the room? Explain that to me.
I misunderstood, okay? But I remember telling you that a while back, that the fight did get to Victoria's room and she was screaming for Victoria.
No.
Well,
You said that you were yelling verbally for Victoria, but you guys could never get near her room because Jess would never let you get near the room.
Well, she was chasing me, and that's when I kind of it all happened real fast, and that's when Michelle tried to hurry up and go over there and check on her. Jessica rushed her again and kind of threw her there, and she was yelling for Victoria.
Was Victoria in the bedroom?
I thought she was.
Was Victoria in the bedroom? Was Victoria in the bedroom?
I didn't see. I wasn't paying. I was trying to grab Jessica.
So did you see Victoria in the bedroom?
No.
What did you see in the bedroom?
I seen the light off and the TV on, and she yelling and me and her yelling saying, please, and Jessica went, she was still hitting her with that thing, and and then after that is when I just finally got the ironing for Jessica on the patio.
Okay, let's stay where we're at. Did you guys clean up blood in Victoria's room?
No.
Who cleaned up the blood in Victoria's room?
Jessica, probably.
31-year-old Jessica Kelly becomes the common scapegoat for both Fabian and Michelle. After serving time for manslaughter, she moves in with them. But despite being one of the main perpetrators alongside Fabian, both Fabian and Michelle act as if they have no part in Victoria's death.
So here it says manslaughter. I do believe that she had gotten a sexual assault on a minor charge, though, as well. I suppose she had just gotten out of prison for manslaughter. But yes, these two have a role to play in this as well. While Jessica, I do believe, was the main ringleader, they have a role to play as well. Tom said it's easier to herd cats than to get a straight answer from him. Absolutely. I mean, I'd get more out of talking to a box of rocks. Toxic said, this guy's been nervous since the beginning of his interrogation. He has. I mean, because he knows what's going on. He saw her in that tub. He knows. He knows what's going on. There seems to be a missing link between all the children who are in vulnerable situations and child protective services, in my opinion. There does. She has a SA charge on another inmate in jail. Okay, thank you, Hannah. I could see that as well. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, we're allowed, like, here at Allegedly Speculating, we are allowed to speculate and state our opinions. I probably shouldn't have talked about crime related to other countries. That was probably my fault. We just have to be careful because obviously politics and things like that are going to be a source of contention for people in chat because, I mean, just turn on the news and you see both sides fighting constantly. So, if it's going to be a point of contention, I try not to talk about it too much, but speculations, thoughts, and opinions about the case are welcome here, even if you disagree. I think it's healthy for us to have conversations. But I do not want to talk about politics and things like that because there's no common ground there. It's going to be an argument no matter what you do, in my opinion. Bazard, thank you so much for the support again. I really appreciate that. Bazard says, I can think of medieval ways to handle these three. Oh, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. I didn't even think about the medieval, like the board you put them on and then you just pull them apart, literally rip them in half. Absolutely. Nessa, good to see you. I don't know if I said hey to you, love.
Shifting all the blame onto her. Yet someone sharp enough will soon see through it.
There's no way me and her did that because we were trying to hurry up and get help, emergency help. I'm lucky I even got away.
So let's slow down for a second. Do you understand now that even the smallest little detail that
yes,
you need to slow down? Listen, you need to slow down because the smallest little details that you're telling me is the difference straight up between me thinking you had something to do with the death of this little girl and me thinking that you were telling the truth. Straight up on a radar of 1 to 10, if I think you're full of shit, I think you're about a 9 full of shit. Honest. I'm just being honest with you.
Thanks.
So, hey, listen, like I said, we have a bunch of evidence. We do. We've got a bunch of evidence. And so, like I told you, I'm putting this puzzle together. And the only person whose pieces don't seem to be matching right now are you and Michelle's. Everybody that we've talked to at the apartments, their pieces all match. They match the physical evidence that we have. They match the witness evidence that we have. What I want to know is what you and Michelle's involvement was, whether, no matter how hard, listen to me, stop. That's, again, when you start to jump in on me like that.
I won't say nothing else when you finish.
Okay. It makes me think that you're being deceptive with me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you finished.
When you've already said and you've agreed with us, there's no way that the things that happened to Victoria could have happened to her without somebody hearing. Now, whether she was screaming or not, she didn't have to be screaming. She didn't have to be screaming. Just the noise alone of what was done to her body would have woken anybody up. And it woke up every apartment in your building, except for the only people that are supposedly not awake are you and Michelle, okay? According to you. And I'm just telling you what I'm being told. So do you see when I have people in apartments telling me that they wake up and they hear banging, something being drugged in an apartment, they hear screaming from a little girl, mind you, and they.
So that just answered that question, Abasim, and I'm glad you asked it because I had not remembered hearing that. I'm going to back it up just a little bit because I was literally about to tell you I don't remember them saying screaming from a little girl, but I think he did just answer that question. Oh, Basil is here. That is Inspector BS. Basil is sitting behind the laptop right now, and he's just chilling. His eyes got wide, and he turned his ears when I said Basil. Yeah, no problem. Tom said, love watching control freaks having the control taken away from them, right? Okay, so we're going to play that again and listen.
I'm just telling you what I'm being told.
Yep.
So do you see when I have people in apartments telling me that they wake up and they hear banging, something being drugged in an apartment, they hear screaming from a little girl, mind you, and they hear adults arguing. So I believe that you guys are arguing. I believe that there was a fight. Now, I also think that some of the filler in there that you've told me is just straight up. And I understand you're scared, okay? There's a little girl that's dead in an apartment, and I don't blame you for being scared. To be honest, on a lot of levels, I don't blame you for lying about stuff if you're lying. And here's why. It's a natural human reaction in the situation that you're in to protect yourself.
Fabian seemed caught off guard, unprepared for the scrutiny of his inconsistencies. Neighbors reported hearing a girl's screams, followed by the chilling sounds of strangling and dragging. Yet, shockingly, not a single one of them thought to call the police while it was happening.
This isn't some stolen TV or somebody that got a bullet wound in their arm. This is a dead 10-year-old girl, and I'm taking that as serious as I possibly can, okay? We're going to talk to Michelle. They're talking to her right now. I have a little bit of information, like I told you, of what she said. And it's already conflicted with what you said on some point.
Now, we're going to go over the interrogation of Michelle at a different point. I don't think I will be live tomorrow. We're supposed to go to the lake, but we will definitely discuss that at a later point. But you could see them texting. You can see her keep picking up her phone because there's people in there with Michelle, and they're communicating with the officers that are questioning Fabian to see if their stories match up.
And you're trying to clarify that for me. I appreciate that. We're also going to talk to Jess, okay? Now, here's the problem. If the story you're telling us doesn't quite match the evidence, and Jess comes in here and tells me a story that does match the evidence, and for whatever reason she implicates you in the murder, being honest with you, then you're going to get wrapped up in this. This is your one and only opportunity, and I'm serious, to tell us the truth. If you saw Victoria dead and it freaked you out and you ran out, then it is what it is, okay? If you helped clean up the blood and whatever, you helped try and get rid of her, whatever it was, this is the time. Listen, this is your only time for redemption. You might have to own up to the consequences. Listen, you might have to man up to that. And I'm not going to lie to you, but this is your only time to come clean, because once we walk out of this room and we put Jess in this room, if she tells us a story that makes a lot more sense with the evidence, the physical evidence, and it implicates you and it makes you the bad guy, you're going to be the bad guy. And that's the way it is. So this is your opportunity to tell us what's up. I need you. Look at me. Look at me in the eyes, bro.
I can't.
This is your.
Yes, man.
What's that? I didn't say you're getting blamed for it. I'm trying to explain to you.
So he's understanding that, he's getting caught in all of his bullshit lies. Again, I don't know if we'll ever know what the truth really is. I did just drop the link for this video again. It is The Real Crime Psychologist. Really great video, and I really appreciate them getting this out here, because I'm actually watching the interrogation with Fabian with you guys for the first time. It is going to be hard for that coward to man up. Absolutely. Linda said put him on the rack. Yeah, that would be a good one. I've been teaching her to watch Computer Screen lately, and she likes it. Aw. Oh yeah, so this is not Inspector BS is not Basil. There is a I'll show you what Basil looks like. I'll drop the emojis.
The reality of the situation that you were currently in. Okay, so if you helped clean up blood in Victoria's room with the water and the rag, then you need to let me know. Talk to me. If you saw her,
my turn.
Talk to me. Let's go.
I forgot to mention. I could have sworn I mentioned that if I did take part right there, in the doorway of Victoria's room, okay, and she was trying to hit her, and Michelle yelling for Victoria. I was trying to pull her back, and she was, you know what I mean? Like I said, she was a lot stronger than me, and she couldn't do it. I feel like, but if she was in there somewhere, it was where I couldn't see. I don't know if she was on the bed or because I wasn't paying attention. But if she was in there, then she was. I'm not gonna say she wasn't, because I can't say that right now. Okay. Like I said earlier, and I'm sorry, because I was still out of it, and I was trying to help, and you know what I mean. It was a little dark in there, and I did not clean up any blood in that room or nothing. No, guys, I don't even believe this right now. I don't. It's crazy to me.
But at some point, you knew that Victoria Martins was deceased, and you helped to do something. Now, was it because you were scared of Jessica? Because she was already committed one homicide, just got out of jail for a homicide, and possibly going to kill you? Possibly, I could believe that. Would Jessica have done this had she not been on the methamphetamine? Who knows? I think so, considering that she committed sexual assault on an inmate in jail. I think she was just a bad seed to begin with. Why you would let her come and stay with you and your new girlfriend and her daughter is beyond me. So, I mean, regardless, you got some accountability to take, sir. Bazard said, I can speculate that, unfortunately, these kids were, trigger warning, sexually and physically abused by all three of these freaks, and things escalated with the deletion of a baby and mutilated her body. Yep. I mean, definitely a trigger warning, but I agree, and I think so as well. Hey, a name here. Good to see you, love. And Megan, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you guys for coming in.
But I'm telling you, if I happened right there, I did not clean up any blood. Jessica was trying to do that because Michelle was trying to check on her daughter, okay? And I was like right there, and I thought, stop, quick, stop, what's going on? And that's when she finally let go. And then she started going after me, and I finally got the iron from her, ran to the patio, like I told you guys, and threw it. And she got mad at me and tried hitting me and doing this and that. And then I was like, what? So I fought her off, and that's when I lost my sock. Okay?
As unbelievable as it seems, Fabian is telling the truth about the earlier fight. Jessica feared Michelle might expose their role in Victoria's death, believing a mother who couldn't stay loyal to her own daughter couldn't be trusted. In a panic, Jessica struck Michelle with an iron to silence her. Fabian intervened, saving her for the moment.
Hey, Kimmy.
And I wish that little girl was still alive right now. And I wish we would have checked on her a lot sooner. And
so the story again is that they were at they went to his uncle's house to get a bowl of weed. Jessica was there with the child, Victoria. Victoria was at the friend's house with the neighbor's house with her children, and then came home. And then when they got back from their uncle's house, Jessica was like, oh, Victoria's asleep in the bedroom, and they never checked on her. Fabian claims that, Michelle's the mother, so he expected her to do that. Nobody ever checked to see if Victoria was okay. Toxic said even the cows would call him out for his lies. Yep. They would say, dang, you got more bullshit than we do. It's easier to understand Chinese than what he's saying. No doubt Mandarin. There we go. A name here. Oh, no. I don't think they do. And I'm glad that you were able to catch alive a name here. A name here said, this is brutal. What's wrong with people? It is. It's the worst case I've ever heard of. Hey, Mystic Firefly. Good to see you. Says, dear Lord. Yes, this is definitely brutal.
And to tell you the truth, we didn't hear her. We were woken up to this. Me and Michelle both. By Jessica being we were talking about, say a prayer, do you believe me, do this? And she got some phones.
What do you have in that? What is in that apartment that would be sharp enough or heavy enough or whatever it is to cut a 10-year-old girl's leg off?
Probably the kitchen knife, the guy was saying.
You got to get through bone. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cutting a leg off. I mean, people use, like a power tool would be probably a little more appropriate, or a saw. You know what I'm saying? So a kitchen knife is going to take a long time.
Or, like I said, there's that other big kitchen knife too that's a little bit bigger, and then those are the only knives I know she has, guys. Like I said, I want to know for 2 weeks. We get along great. I still, you know what I mean? Still want to be there. Still, that's the only thing that I know that's in there like that.
Because at first you said that you did not ever check on Victoria, right?
Mystic Firefly, this is a case that is out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's from 2016. This case has already been to court and all of that. It's just a case that when I heard what was going on, because I remember hearing about it in 2016, I couldn't believe it. And I have FOIA'd part of the information, and they sent me 282 pages because they charged me $1 a page. And they said there's more, like 700 more pages, and then a bunch of discs with the interrogations and pictures on them. So I'm trying to get the disc with the pictures on them and things like that, and then decide if I'm going to also buy the rest of it. But I definitely am going to get that so we can talk about it. This case is just, I couldn't believe it. And it's one that I FOIA'd along with another one that had been to court out of Florida that I just like to discuss with y'all when there's not a lot going on. You know what I mean? It's hard to hear, Toxic. I wanted to get it because there's more to this case involving false confessions, the sentences being so light, the protests outside about the sentences being so light, the possibility of another person being involved. Like there's a lot to this. But the most important thing is Victoria Martin. So please always remember her. They must have been supremely wasted to sleep through it, if that's what he's claiming. Does he think that they're that stupid? He thinks that they think he didn't know. At this point, do you think there's laws that need to be placed to deal with shitty parentings or parents harsher? I think they should be charged, absolutely, like neglect or something. I mean, that's what a neglect charge is, absolutely. Yeah, they did say he wiped the floor, Linda, and thank you for again pointing that out. K8 Face 90, thank you for coming in. I'm seeing this. I didn't see your name. I don't know why. Can you drop? Yes, I will drop the Discord link. Oh, yeah, a name here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Yes, Dainty Dane. She was AR'd and dismembered by Jessica, and we don't know who else. Thank you, Hannah.
Never happened. You guys never checked on Victoria? you left,
Thought she
you
was
left
asleep.
Michelle, thought she was sleeping.
Yeah.
Now there's this big story about this fight that happened over by Victoria's room, and you're pulling Michelle off, and that's
What?
a big story that never happened before.
What we're
It never
saying,
existed.
what I'm trying to tell you is this: we thought Victoria was fine because we thought she was sleeping, like we were saying, okay? And Jessica never said nothing bad, so we thought everything was okay. We thought she was sleeping because we seen her coming downstairs. We were listening to music down there, okay? She went back up there, and we went back up there. We said, "What?" She said, "She laid her back down." She said. So then we just left it, because we said we were asleep, okay? So this is the whole reason why I'm saying that. And then when we went to bed, when we got woke up, and this is when all the weird, crazy iron, weird bullshit started happening, with Jessica trying to kill us and say that we trying to do this and that. And
You know what I think, Fabian? I think that we've been sitting here for a long time, for quite a while, talking in circles, and I think
well, tell me how
you're a smart guy.
I know.
Listen to me.
Let me tell you this.
I think you're a smart guy.
She's talking
Tell
to
me.
you, Fabian.
Listen, just real quick. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt
I understand
because I'm
that.
saying you're a smart guy. Smart enough to know when that little girl was being carried up those stairs yesterday that you did go check on her and she was dead and you got scared. I think you were just scared and you knew. So I think you guys were like in the apartment over like hours.
If I would have known that, I would have said something right away, guys. Come on. Scared or not. I would have said something.
Well, how can you?
What would you really, considering all the substances you're on, you find a deceased child in the apartment and you got this crazy killer cousin of yours trying to kill you? I don't know. I think it's more along the lines of what I just described, but that's just me allegedly speculating. Toxic said, I don't know about anyone else when I get home and my littles are sleeping. I always poke my head and check to make sure they're covered and sleeping. Absolutely. Absolutely. Most people do, but there's some mental issues with Michelle. This was almost 10 years ago. Why is it coming up now? Legit curious. Where are these people now? Well, we'll get there. Mercedes, and this is kind of coming up because it's just a case that I wanted more information on. So I have a couple that are older that I like to cover that I just got, I paid for the information on so I can discuss them with you guys and get your points of view. A lot more information has just been recently dropped, though. I know a lot of it was kept closed and behind closed doors for a while because they say that the New Mexico Police Department kind of messed up on this one. The neighbors heard what was going on but didn't see. That is awful, Ava. I don't think I can handle it either.
You convinced me of that because after everything that went on.
Listen, even Michelle thought she was okay.
Fabian, we're not saying that you killed her or that you had anything to do with her death. We're not. Okay.
Yes.
Do you understand?
But if she
Listen.
Okay.
Do you understand that we don't think that you killed her? What she's saying is we think that when you saw her on the stairs that she was dead.
Hey, Kalisa.
And that when you went inside that she was dead and you guys didn't know what to do and you got scared. And that's what I've been trying to tell you.
I was in my right mind. I wasn't out of it. I wasn't on anything, okay? And yeah, I was a little bit buzzed, tired from the long day, but I was in my right mind, okay? Yes, trust best believe that I should have noticed a little more, but I really thought she was just sleeping around. Yes, I kind of thought it was fishy why she turned around and didn't listen to me. I said, hey, come here, what's going on? To try to see what was going on, okay? We went upstairs. Michelle asked, okay, oh, Victoria's sleeping? Yeah, she laid her down, Jessica said. Or whatever they said, whatever. But yeah, basically, Jessica said she's asleep. Okay, so then I thought she was just asleep in there. And not for one thought, I didn't think, because me and Michelle went to the room right away, and Jessica didn't want to stay in the living room, okay? All this together should have made us snap, me and Michelle both, to go check on her. You know what I mean? But we didn't, because she said just leave her asleep.
So you're taking the word of your ex-convict cousin who just got out of prison, who had her kids taken away from her in the past, does drugs, has been using, you leave little girl with her, and then you think that something happened to her because she looks unconscious, but then you don't go check on her.
But we didn't.
And you take her word for it.
You think something happened to her because she looks unconscious. And everything the detective just said is absolutely correct. Like, what the hell were you thinking? So Megan, these case files, I haven't put them on my Discord. I'm going to drop another link. So that is As the Gavel Drops Discord. Now, As the Gavel Drops Discord has every case you could ever want. Like, they've got a lot of files on, so many cases. So definitely check them out. I did have their YouTube channel link because they just started a YouTube, but I don't think I have it in here anymore. I will look for it. But that's their Discord. If you want any kind of documents for pretty much any case, you can find it there. Veronica said, first they telling me smart and then this. Yep. Teresa said, yes, the neighbors must have known, just like the housemates in poor Madeline's house. Yeah, he went to check on her. Yeah, no doubt. Mercedes. Upset. It's upsetting. Tom said detectives should have another method head in the room to interpret what he's saying. Yeah. Another. Yeah, no doubt. Mystic said, what the heck did that mother even see in this worm of a man? I don't know what she had men in and out of there. Yeah, I need to make it where you can drop the link for the channel too, but I'll work on that. Megan, Toxic Mike can explain it to you. Like you have to click the link. I'd have to show you. Message me on Discord and I'll try to get with you and show you. Yes.
But we didn't see her using anything like that, and we just thought she was sad because she had to go back to her mother's. And
No, you knew that she was using. You saw her with.
yeah, but we didn't see her use it.
Well, you think she was just going to look at it?
Well,
Come on, you're a smart
I understand.
guy.
I understand.
Dude.
I know.
We're
Okay.
just trying to ask. Like we're just trying to explain the facts, and they're not matching up.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I wasn't scared. It's just I don't know what was up with Jessica.
It's a valid question. Why would anyone leave their own child with a convicted felon severely addicted to drugs? During Michelle's interrogation, she suggested Victoria might have taken the drug herself, but the autopsy proved otherwise. Both Fabian and Michelle knew exactly how dangerous Jessica was, yet they left a 10-year-old in her care without a second thought.
That's disturbing. Where was this mother's mental state at? But what I want you to take note of is that Michelle said in the interview that there would be methamphetamine in Victoria Martin's system, and the autopsy showed otherwise, as he just said. There was no methamphetamine in Victoria's system. So you have to ask, why would the mother say such a horrendous thing like you're going to find methamphetamine in this child's system, and then they didn't find any drugs in her system that I know of. So like, why would you say something that's going to get you in more trouble? And that's going to go more into her mental state. The things that she did say are absolutely astonishing.
And Fabian, directly involved in the crime, had the audacity to claim that he failed to protect Victoria, while in reality, he violated her. And now, sensing the walls closing in, he's quick to play the victim.
You know, let me just say something. I know that sometimes people do really, things that get them off, and maybe get them off even that they're more embarrassed of what the public's going to think. But that stuff's pretty private, okay? And I understand that if, you're with two girls and you guys are getting high and it gets people off to hurt a little girl. I mean, it happens before, because let me tell you.
Come on.
That's
sick. That's
Fabian,
disgusting. That's gross.
But
That's very.
you're putting this on your cousin. I'm not buying it.
I'm just telling you, yes. I got off to get help anyway.
Whack this in the head.
I know, I should have.
Knock her out and get your
I'm
girls
thinking about that
out.
right now. I should have, yeah. But I was scared. I'm telling you, I was very
You can
scared.
be scared. I get it. It's a horrible situation. But the fact that you didn't see, this is not a mansion. This is not a really big house, dude. And like, I'm just saying, with or out, the experience we have, listen to me. Listen. Let me finish.
Like, yeah, how do you not hear that in that apartment? I mean, you saw the virtual tour of it in my video. And I like the way that Real Crime Psychology put this twist coming up in 2 minutes and it's a countdown. I don't know about that. That wasn't me. Maybe the math didn't have time to metabolize. I'm just guessing. I don't know much about math. That's a possibility. Get him. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't write that. I appreciate the fact that you bring these cases to light. Me too. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here with us to talk about this case.
With or without the many years of experience that we have in this is a very small apartment, and there's no way that this went down without you knowing about it and hearing. And now your story changes to going back into Victoria's room, and you still claim that you didn't see her?
I didn't
Her room
see
is not that big, dude. You step in it, you can see everything. So is she in her bedroom or is she in the bathroom? Which is it?
I don't know. I didn't look in that bathroom, okay?
Or is she on the kitchen floor where all the blood is?
No.
And then she's moved later.
There's no way. There's no way, because when she woke us up and the fight started, like I said, when she started hitting Michelle first and then trying to be with me and trying to do that to me, and Michelle was like, we were yelling. I didn't see nothing like that.
So what blanket was she wrapped up in when Jess was carrying her down on the stairs?
Like a blue and white one.
Okay, and what blanket was she wrapped up in later?
I don't know.
What?
Okay. Hey Hugh, and happy birthday. Hey Momerty. Yeah, I know. It's like, geez, what the actual F? I normally would wait till the end, but I know Hugh is not going to be here. She's just coming in and out, and she is my bestie. So I am going to play the happy birthday song. I know that it's right in the middle of a horrendous interrogation, so please forgive me for that, but I got to tell her happy birthday. So this is for you, Hugh.
Patrick Raymond's home. It's your birthday, it's your birthday. It's your birthday, it's your birthday. Did you let her go? It's your birthday, it's your birthday. It's your birthday, did you let her go? Did you let her go? Did you let her go? It's your birthday, it's your birthday. Bad bitch content, you in first place. It's your birthday, it's your birthday. Bad bitch content, you in.
Happy birthday, Hugh. You're welcome, love. Hey, Orange Rose. Good to see you again. Yes, you're welcome anytime. I hope you have a good birthday and enjoy time with your family. Okay, we're gonna take it back down from the happy note back to this horrendous situation with Victoria Martins. Happy birthday again, love, and I hope you enjoy your day.
What blanket was she using later?
I remember I didn't see Victoria after that. Are you gonna look for her? Stupid me, Michelle. We should have.
Okay, well, Michelle peeked in to make sure she was okay. So what did she tell you she was looking like?
She didn't say nothing. She just said, "Oh, she's asleep."
Okay.
It's like Jessica said. I went to the room right away. You know what I mean? I was tired. I was drinking and we're listening to music. I was having a good time, and I went to the room right away. I was already tired, and then I was trying to see why Jessica kept staying in the patio and the couch. She wasn't even going towards that.
I love you too. I love you, and I hope you have a good birthday. I'll talk to you after the live. I hope you enjoy your day. Yes, 22 years old today. She is. Just came age to be able to drink.
That room. Okay. Huh.
So when you went in,
I didn't think nothing of it. Okay, which I should have.
Okay. So when you went into Victoria's room, and there's this big fight now over there and this big altercation, but
that was like it started from our bedroom, and then it went to the kitchen, and then that's when I tried to get out first. That's when she just freaked out and tried to say, "Well, help me, good, this and that." I didn't. I just said, "Okay, yeah, she will, you know what I mean, whatever."
If that wasn't infuriating enough, Fabian's next statement would push anyone over the edge.
And so we left, you know what I mean? Stayed gone for a couple of hours, went back. Well, we didn't go back until we found out that she wasn't showing up for what's her name, Victoria.
So much compassion Fabian had that he couldn't even remember the name of the girl he violently assaulted and dismembered.
So you've been living with Michelle for 3 weeks, and you don't even know this child's name? It took you a minute. He said, for what's her name? Victoria. Like, tell me you were just using Michelle or using this child without telling me. You know what I mean? It's VictoriaMartens. I do believe. It's Martins is spelled differently. And you were talking about the name Victoria. That was one name that I had picked out for my daughter too. I liked the name Victoria, Isabella, Fiona, Chloe. I did not name my daughter any of those names, but those were names that I had picked out. Mystic, you know what though? Sometimes during lives, I'll be doing my nails too, girl. Yeah.
But his
it is.
lies are
Thank
about
you.
to crumble after
Yeah, it's VICTORIAMARTENS. Thank you, Dainty, for pointing that out. And again, this video is from Real Crime Psychology. They are linked in the description box and in the chat at the top.
stepping out to check on Michelle,
Maybe.
Corey returns, ready to tear his narrative apart.
All right, bro. We're done with the bull. We're done with the bull. Look at me. Man to man. We're done with the bull.
I understand, sir.
So we're going to get to the bottom of the real story right
I
now.
understand, sir.
We're going to get to the bottom of the real story because Michelle's giving us the real story. Okay? So I want the real story because I know that you and Michelle were inside the apartment and that you knew that Victoria was dead. So let's get to the real story. Listen to me. Michelle is telling us that you guys were in the apartment and that she saw Jessica move Victoria's dead body around 7:30 and that you guys were both there. So let's cut and whatever cockamamie bullshit story you guys came up with in that apartment, it's out the window. We're done with it. Let's go to the real story. Like I told you, Michelle's telling us what happened. Now it's time to buck up, dude. Tell us what happened.
Dainty Dane, thank you for becoming a member of Speculation Station. Speculation Station is where I get a little bit more personal. And I upload videos about, daily life and what I'm doing and things like that. I do appreciate you becoming a member. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. And I will grab the crazy train and pick you up on the way to Speculation Station.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
And this case is definitely a crazy train, that's for sure. Thank you, Dainty Dane, so much for that. I really appreciate that support.
So is she talking about when Jessica went upstairs with her? Is that what she's talking about?
She's telling us that you guys were in the apartment. You, her, Jessica, and Victoria. And that Jessica brought Victoria's dead body out of her bedroom and put it in the bathroom.
I didn't see that. I did not see that. I did not see that. And she didn't tell me anything about that. I didn't see that.
Fabian.
Did she tell me? She told
Fabian.
me?
Fabian.
I didn't see her move.
Okay, so you didn't see her move the body, but you were there.
Yes, I was there. And I didn't hear no yelling. I didn't see her move the body. But yes, I was there. Yes, I was.
Okay, so then what happened? I'm not saying you killed Victoria, okay? Okay. Who made the decision to cut up her body and why? Let's talk about that.
I don't know.
Fabian.
I don't know who would do that. I would never do something like that. That's crazy.
I know. I'm not saying that you would.
But when you add substances and a killer cousin, would you?
But that's the reality of what's happened, and we're here.
I understand.
So we need to know the truth.
Okay. I didn't see that. You know what I mean?
Hey, Fabian. Listen, I don't want the next time that I walk out of that room, them to tell me that you were the one doing it. If you're being honest, listen to me. If you're being honest with me, then we're gonna work it out. I'm not saying you're not gonna be in trouble, but Fabian.
Well, no, I didn't.
Right now, you're the only one that's not telling me the truth based on everything I'm seeing.
Because I didn't see none of that stuff. I didn't see her.
Okay, so then what do you know about it?
What I know is that she kind of was acting weird. Jessica was, and she did tell Michelle that, you know what I mean? That her daughter was there, and she's like, I think she's coming down. I was like, no, that's stupid. Yeah, right. I was like,
when was this?
When she told me, we're at the place when we're waiting for the cops. And then this is what she said. Let me tell you what she said, okay? You think she had heard us or this or that? And I said, no, I don't think she would. You know, pretty sure not.
We're talking
what?
Way earlier in the day, bro.
You notice when people are lying in an interrogation, I think somebody had said it in a previous live talk referencing Stephen Stearns, they jump in time. Like, you'll ask them, okay, what were you doing 2 hours ago? And they'll start all the way back at this morning. That has been proven over time as something that they do. And the things that, I mean, the things that he admits to and doesn't admit to is astonishing. But again, there's a twist to this, because there's a possibility that he could be telling the truth. In some aspects, he's lying about a lot of it, but some of it, he could be telling the truth.
He's been dead for a while.
Okay, what? Tell me
Fabian.
What time?
Fabian.
What time of the day? Just tell me. You're telling me to answer your question. I don't want to sit here.
When you saw Jess on the landing, holding Victoria's body.
Yeah, they did.
And then went inside.
Yeah.
When you guys went back inside, sometime soon after that.
Yeah.
She moved the dead body, and Michelle is saying she knew that Victoria was dead. She moved it to the bathroom, and you both were there. Whether you physically saw that or not,
yeah.
At some point between that time when she was moved to the bathroom and when the officers arrived, Victoria was dismembered and cut up into pieces, and you were there. So we got to get to the bottom of it, bro.
I understand.
Because Michelle's telling us the truth. So tell me what your part in it was and what you knew.
I went up there. We should have checked on it. I didn't know that Victoria was even passed away, or even I didn't see her get moved to the bathroom. I did not. I went to the room anyway. The only time I came out of the room was when I said I was hungry after I used the restroom, okay? And then I made the tacos. And then we went to bed, and then we got woke up like that. I don't know what she's telling you, but that's what I went through. So how is Jessica gonna say that?
At this exact moment, Fabian realizes he's in serious trouble. He never expected Michelle to turn him in. After all, they made tacos together right after dismembering Victoria. But now...
Can you believe that? They go in the kitchen after dismembering this 10-year-old child that is the daughter of his girlfriend that he's having relations with and living with, and they go and make freaking tacos and eat them. He eats one and puts one in the refrigerator, as a matter of fact. He makes 2 for Jessica and 2 for Michelle. I mean, again, like, Victoria doesn't need any because she's deceased in the bathtub. They've just finished dismembering her, and we're going to go eat tacos afterwards. Hello, Odd Galaxies. This is the kind of situation I've always felt Madeline Soto was in with her mom, Jen, and Steppen. This is so sad, that poor child. Victoria deserved much better. Victoria did deserve much better. Fabian definitely would have to deal with gang members in the joint because several of them are family men who don't play with child abusers and killers. Absolutely. Yeah, this is horrifying. Yes, Mystic, they made tacos after dismembering a 10-year-old child.
She's serving him up to the detectives. And as sickening as it sounds, investigators uncovered their twisted plan to dispose of Victoria's remains, piece by piece.
Because then somebody started cutting up the body of a little girl in that room and packing her up in plastic bags. And so for you to say that you at no point heard, saw, smelled, nothing, I cannot believe that. Because this is like 600 square feet. There's not a backyard. There's not a shed. Fabian, I know that I'm asking you to tell me the truth, and this is the hardest thing you've ever done.
Okay.
So I know it's the hardest thing you've ever done.
It's something I didn't do, though. I did not kill that little girl.
I just want to know what you did.
I did not dismember it.
Even now, he refuses to say her name.
Yes, he just referred to her as it. He said, I did not kill that little girl, which could be factual. I did not dismember it, showing that he could actually have a part in the dismembering because he's pushing himself away from the situation by referring to Victoria as it. Mama Risa, police should have mental health support. Most of them do, I do believe. But yeah, it's definitely needed. A small weed said full on darkness. Absolutely. There is always an aspect of truth in the lies. As it, yep. Yep, and it makes me think of the body. Like, maybe you didn't commit the homicide, but you helped afterwards in both situations, in my opinion.
Reducing Victoria to just it. But no amount of distancing can erase the horror of what he had done to her.
The thing was, I did not see nothing or pay attention to anything. I was just in there all drunk, okay? In the room, laying down.
He was indeed drunk. In the transcripts of the interrogation, he references Victoria having like a lot of money, and he asked Michelle where she got the money, and Michelle lies to him. Jessica lies to him, and Victoria says, he asked Victoria, where did you get this money? He says, and Victoria says that Jessica gave it to her, and he said, thank you for telling me the truth, and then somehow takes $20 from Victoria, takes her to the giant gas station. He buys himself a bottle of vodka, and he buys her a bottle of Coke before all of this stuff goes down. No panic. Yeah, it does seem almost ritualistic. And I mean, I'm not gonna, you can make comparisons, you know what I mean? Right. That kind of goes down to some of the things. Exactly. Bazard said, yeah, this case kind of seems to suggest that the moms or dads are okay with their children getting abused by others or themselves. This case clearly shows we have an epidemic of cases like this. We do. I've not heard of any this bad. I think somebody said Kalia Guyton. I wrote that down to look into, but goodness. Oh, Basil is thumping. What did you hear, baby? He is thumping right now. What is it? Oh my goodness. Let me calm him down. He's thumping again. Yeah. Yes, and please, if you need to leave, look after your piece.
I would have never thought that or known that.
Do you see how different our story is now, though?
Yes.
Okay. So now what are you not telling me, Fabian? It's okay, dude. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to lose my mind with you.
When she told me that, I think you couldn't, and I said, yeah, right. So then I kind of thought about
What time was it that she told you that Victoria was dead?
When she told me when we went.
You know, Basil is mad, and it seems like he got that way right after I read the comment from Bazard talking about more epidemics of this case going on. That's right, when he started thumping. He smells carrots. I know, you know what's funny about Basil? He doesn't even eat carrots.
When we went to the Indian house, and I was like, oh, what do you mean? Why do you even say that? I said, she's okay. There's no way. I told her, you're tripping, and she's okay. Just, you know what I mean? They'll get her up. She's going to be okay. That's when she said that.
But Fabian.
And then she said, before that, you know, we went to bed. We ate something. She asked, she thought, go get a cigarette. So she got a cigarette. She smoked, and she went to the dog thing with Jessica.
Fabian.
That's the only funny thing I can tell you.
Listen. We know that Michelle specifically asked Jessica what happened and what she did to Victoria. Mm-hmm. We know that you were in the apartment.
Yeah, but I wasn't right there when they asked it. When I wasn't there, like this close. I was in the.
Okay, listen. You need to understand. This is not a trap.
I know.
I know you don't. It's not a trap. It's not a trap. I'm not trying to get you to admit to anything that you didn't do. Okay, that's not what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm just trying. I need to know exactly what you saw or heard. Listen, if you had nothing to do with it, that's fine. If you had something to do with it, whether it was a small part or a big part, we need to know. And listen, this isn't about getting Michelle in trouble. You don't need to worry about that. Or Jessica, no, she's your family. This is bigger than this, right?
Yes, I don't care. She can run hell for that. That's crazier than hell.
Okay. But I cannot, there's no way that I can leave this room believing that there's a 10-year-old dead girl in that room. Let's even say from the time of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. and that during that time, her limbs were being chopped off in that very apartment, and she was being bagged in different bags. Listen, and then at no time, I refuse to believe that at no time did you have any knowledge that something was going on. You had to have known something.
Okay.
It's not possible to do all that and not hear something, not see something. I mean, imagine the blood alone. Victoria was such a beautiful child. She was, Linda. Content said, I feel like they should have had a translator to get to this guy. Maybe that would have worked. You're not wrong. No, you're not.
Okay, I didn't. But what I'm saying is, me and Michelle were over there with the neighbors inside for a good 15 minutes, waiting for the cops. 15, 20 minutes waiting for the cops. Okay, I know that for a fact. And Jessica was in there by herself. She locked herself in because I know that because the officer had to keep the door open. And we're watching for.
Let me explain this to you. It takes more than 20 minutes to do what was done to Victoria. It would be physically impossible to do what was done to her in 20 minutes. Impossible. If there was 10 people doing it, maybe. For one person to do that would take hours and hours and hours.
This is crazy, guys. I want to take a lie detector test because this is crazy.
A classic move. Guilty men often ask for a polygraph, hoping it makes them look innocent. But detectives don't need a machine to see through his lies.
Fabian, listen.
Now, I don't know exactly what his charges are at the end, but I mean, there's a possibility that he could be wanting to take a lie detector test to prove his innocence.
Listen. I'm not accusing you of anything
specific. But I'm trying to tell you. I would never in a million years have think this would happen.
I agree.
More or less, with her not even knowing, if she knew, she should have let me know something. Thing is, if she didn't let me know, she did know, and I'm going to tell you that right now. And if she knew, why didn't she let me know right away before we even went to bed?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm
not a parent, but if I walk in my house.
And I was wondering, why did Jessica attack her first when she woke us up? If you're saying it like that now.
So,
Bazzer, I hope you have a good weekend, love.
Have you and Michelle ever talked about your past before?
About my past?
Yeah.
Because when me and my baby's mom were fighting, it's not that like the baby got touched. It was just because we were arguing in front of her, and when we got pulled over, like that, when the cops came, you know what I mean?
Like a neglect or something.
Yeah, it was child neglect. That's what it was. Yes, and then when I got whatever the DA approved it, they tried to get it for child. And we put it back down just to child neglect.
Something I need you to understand, okay?
So he has been charged with child neglect, and I mean, you saw we talked about what Jessica was charged with, and Michelle's just letting them stay there.
I've already told you a couple times that I think you're a good dude, okay?
Yes.
I don't think you're a bad guy, okay? And like I've said many times now, a lot of times good people find themselves in bad situations.
Yes.
They had no intent of being there.
Yes.
They had no idea
that this was going to even go on.
And never in a million years would ever wish to be a part of it or want to be a part of it. And if they could go back again, they'd never be a part of it, okay? However, those people find themselves in those situations. What I need you to understand is just because if a good person does something bad, that doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It just means that they did something bad, okay? Mm-hmm. Can you understand from our side?
That's a classic tactic. You committed homicides, child abuse, dismembered a child. That doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. Like what? But it's a tactic they use.
Seeing the things we've seen today and having to investigate what we're investigating. Mm-hmm. Can you understand how it's hard for us to believe that you had no knowledge of anything going on?
Okay.
I
might be guilty of that, but I didn't. Come on, man. That's scary out of me, man.
So Fabian, were you scared that she was gonna kill you?
Yeah.
Is that why you just let it happen?
I didn't see nothing happen though.
Did you hear something? What did you hear, Fabian? Let's talk about that.
I thought it was the TV. Because she got it so loud.
What was it? What'd you hear?
Just like loud sounds, you know?
Like what? Like describe them to me.
Just rah, you know what I mean? But I thought it was the TV.
What is that? Like somebody talking?
Somebody, yeah, like trying to talk or like back and forth. And
now he does also mention in the transcripts that I have how Jessica turned the TV on and it's up really, really loud, and he says to turn the TV down. So maybe she was doing that to try to drown out the sound of what she was doing. He does have a black eye from getting in a fight with his cousin. Absolutely, yeah. It's not you, it's me. It's definitely you, right, Veronica? He's like, yes, I'm a smart, good guy. Right, Stoic? Yep. It's hard for us to believe that you're a good person is what he meant. Uh-huh. Absolutely.
But Michelle was there with me too, though. When I woke up, when I heard that,
Fabian, what did you hear during the night?
All I
Just
heard
be
was,
honest with me, dude. That's all I'm asking.
let me tell you, I didn't see nothing or hear nothing, but I did see her carry the little girl upstairs. I mean, she tried to come down and wear this.
Again, distancing himself, the little girl, not Victoria, not his possible, his girlfriend's daughter, possible stepdaughter, all of the things. No. And yeah, he should have asked for a lawyer. Absolutely.
Okay. That's when she said, "Oh man, what's going on? Please, you know what I mean, this and that. Hopefully she's okay." And what happened is I said, "Come here," just because she's like, "We're in," didn't listen to me. Went back upstairs. But they never mentioned about like saying that they think the baby, they killed her daughter or nothing like that. You know what I mean? And it was so weird because Jessica was acting shady, but it was like, but Michelle was with me. So I was like, there's really nothing going on. And I know I'm not doing nothing. And I know I would never do something like that. So, but we should have checked. And then, we were just kicking back and me and Michelle went to the room right away. Okay? When we went inside after that.
You what?
We went to the room right away. Me and Michelle.
But then you guys came out and had tacos and...
Yes. Okay. Yeah, but that was right away.
Where did you guys sit?
And I was still in the room waiting for her to ask me out. And I was like, "Can you remember?" And I was like on the phone and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, what are we doing?" I said, "Just warm up the potatoes and get to me and I'll just do the rest." You know what I mean? And then that's what happened.
Fabian, I have a very hard time with Michelle.
So yeah, they go out and he cooks tacos, the meat and everything. And supposedly you didn't know that this child was in the bathtub being dismembered. It is a good thing he didn't ask for a lawyer. And it is impossible with a kitchen knife. I wonder what the actual weapon that they used was. It's a great thing he didn't ask for a lawyer.
Michelle's telling us, honestly, that she saw, and I'm telling you exactly what I said. Listen, I know. Let me explain to you so you can understand what I'm thinking.
All right.
She physically saw Jess move Victoria's body from her bedroom to the bath. Okay, listen.
Why didn't she say something to me then?
Fabian.
Why didn't she tell me anything? Why didn't she tell me anything? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so I understand.
Can you ask her that? Why didn't you tell Fabian something then?
Well, we can ask her. I'll have them ask her.
Please, because she didn't tell me.
Because from my point of view, it's very hard to understand how you wouldn't know.
Exactly. If she didn't tell me nothing, you know what I mean? And plus, you just moved her body from the room to the bathroom, and I'm in the room with the door halfway shut. Of course, I'm not going to see that. If you really look inside that apartment, you're not going to be able to see that.
So let's say
my side's all the way to that side. You know what I mean? It's not by the door side door. See, Michelle's side, you could see up through the door.
So, I mean, and he it seems like he's telling the truth, but then you keep in mind that they've had to basically say, "I'm done with your bullshit and your lies" so many times because he keeps lying. Abella said, "Horrible freaking people. Where is my wood chipper?" And she checked her pockets. Uncomfortable much? Yep. Now he's demanding answers. Veronica, yep. Oh, Hannah's given Abella's her wood chipper back because she borrowed it. He is demanding answers now.
It's infuriating to hear Fabian constantly switching up his story, but given his history of childhood, it's no mystery that he inflicted the same on Victoria. In Michelle's interrogation, she claimed Fabian had been brutally Victoria for some time. While there are a number of versions of this story, many believe Michelle's confession was false and forced. However, even if that's true, it doesn't paint her in a good light. She was fully aware of the horrible things happening to Victoria, and at the center of it all was Fabian, spinning lies while standing in the wreckage of his own monstrosity.
Let's say you didn't see her move her, and
so I feel like, well, see, that's why we need to talk about Michelle's confession. Since they broke right there, we can actually jump to Michelle's confession for a little bit. and then we can jump back to Fabian's. I don't know how much longer I have to be with you guys because Mr. Speculating is going to kick my butt if I don't get out there and help with the tilling. But let's talk about Michelle's confession for a little bit. I know I won't be able to finish it, so I'll have to leave it, and then we'll continue watching these together, or you guys can also go and check them out. But like, see, you can see how many videos that Real Crime Psychology has, and it's a lot, and so definitely make sure you're checking them out. Oh my gosh, hold on just a minute. I didn't have it in the playlist because I didn't plan on going over it as much today. That the one that's up there, the most shocking interrogation you ever heard, that case is crazy as well. We talked about one of the other cases that I just saw. I think we played their video right here. All right, let's talk about Michelle. Now, this is going to be even worse, believe it or not.
And Jessica's whole happened.
And it's going to kind of get into the realm of false confessions. Help with tilling the garden. Yeah, just tell him I have cramps. He would go give me some Midol and be like, you better get your butt to work. If I want that garden, I got to get my butt to work. And we rented the tiller, and we're supposed to go to the lake tomorrow, so I got to get it done. All right, so this is going to be Victoria's mother, Michelle. We're going to start talking about this one.
And Fabian was her.
So they were cutting her arms off in the bedroom.
Then they put her other pieces in the basket.
Did he penetrate Victoria with his... Was your daughter saying anything?
Stop.
This is 35-year-old Michelle Martins, a mother of two whose spine-chilling revelations left the detectives and the entire state of Texas in complete shock.
You were in the room while she was being assaulted. What part did you take in that act?
As the interrogation starts, detectives realized that her seemingly normal house was actually the ultimate house of horrors. In this interrogation, detectives uncover a monster in disguise of a loving mother.
Well,
a woman.
Dainty, I know you're not trying to be rude at all, but yeah, it's a possibility.
Who betrayed her own daughter in the most horrific way. On the morning of August 24th, 2016, a worried neighbor's tip brought Texas police to this apartment, revealing a crime so shocking it would stay with them forever. When the police arrived at the scene, they saw smoke coming out of Michelle's apartment. Forcing their way in, they found a blanket in the bathtub, which was still smoldering in fumes. Upon opening it, they made a grim discovery. Inside were the dismembered limbs of a girl. In the living room, the police found a trash bag containing lungs and kidneys. One by one, the detectives were putting together the pieces of this gruesome puzzle. But the question remained, what actually went down with Michelle's daughter, Victoria, and where was her son, Matthew? Answers to both were revealed soon enough in the interrogation, and detectives were left to wonder what kind of monsters could commit such acts. Upon initial investigation, detectives discovered that Michelle lived in that apartment with Victoria, along with her boyfriend Fabian Gonzalez and his cousin Jessica Kelly. As the horrifying details of crime came to light, all three adults were immediately taken into custody. Detectives soon discovered the dark secret of the seemingly ordinary family.
Hey, no, ma'am. I'm Corey. It's nice to meet you.
Josh is going to go back in and talk to Fabian a little bit.
Possibly a small one.
So I just wanted to come back in so that way we can continue on going through. Okay.
Now, like he said, some people believe her confession was false and fake. Now, she's gonna testify to some things that are hard to hear. But remember, we just spoke about how she said there was going to be methamphetamine in Victoria's system, and there wasn't. So This is kind of what I want to talk about with you guys. This is the question that is presented in this case, and there's a lot more. Like I said, I'm going to get the information, and we're going to find out all of it together. More than
maybe to make it a little bit easier, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. Victoria's birthday was
Just yesterday.
just yesterday, right? Okay. And what were you guys gonna do for Victoria's birthday?
We were gonna celebrate it today.
Okay. What was did you guys have a
The
plan?
park above.
The part,
At the park above. It's up at Rio Rancho.
okay. Okay.
Nice.
We guys just have friends and cake. Okay. How do you, does that make you, it's hard, huh? Okay. Choose your baby.
I can't imagine my mother and father, now I have to.
Why'd you name her Victoria?
Because I always said if I had a girl, I'd name her Victoria.
Okay. And she was 10, just turned 10? Yeah. What were some of her favorite things to do?
Color, math,
Math.
gymnastics.
Gymnastics. Okay. What did she do, like tumbling and gymnastics?
a name here, right? It was her birthday. It was her birthday when all of this stuff happened to her. It makes it even worse. And a lot of, there's some similarities here. I mean, Madeline had just celebrated her birthday as well. I know, Victoria. I was wondering the same thing. Organ harvesting, Mystic is mistaken. I don't know.
Wow. You're gonna miss her.
Yeah.
Initially, Michelle tried to play the role of a grieving mother, but these seasoned detectives saw through her act. After all, she had allowed Fabian and Jessica to stay in her home, despite the clear danger they posed to her children.
I'm just worried about my son.
Well, and I want you to be able to be there for your son. Okay?
Oh, our Galaxy said, I lit a candle for Victoria and Madeline. Crows mourn more humanly than these people. Yeah, they do. And I appreciate you doing that. I try to keep a candle lit too, as well, for all these children victims and all the victims of these horrendous things.
I'm worried about my life now too.
Well, can you kind of tell me why you're worried?
Because now I'm afraid they're going to come back and kill me. I don't even want to stay home now.
Okay.
I want to get out of there.
Just weeks into dating, Michelle let Fabian, a repeat offender with a history of misdemeanors and child abuse, move into her apartment, which she shared with her daughter. Within a month, Fabian brought his cousin, Jessica Kelly, into the household. A recently released felon with a history of crime and substance abuse, she arrived on August 15th, 2016, just 8 days before the crime unfolded. Allowing two dangerous individuals to stay with her daughter wasn't just reckless, it raised serious suspicions about Michelle's motives.
8 days after this girl arrived, and I'm assuming she went there because she had nowhere else to go after being in prison, all of this stuff happens. Yeah, I don't know. See, that's when we get into some cartel aspects of it. I'm questioning if Jessica was in the cartel or part of a cartel, and for whatever reason, like, I don't think she did this for the cartel. I think she did it because she was an effed up person. But like that, I don't know. That's like, speculation, obviously. But I've wondered if, because like you guys had said, who knows to remove kidneys and lungs and organs and things like that. I don't know anybody else other than like maybe cartel or something like that. But yeah, I think she did it because of substances, not for the cartel, but maybe she had been running with the cartel before or something. I don't know. It's just a speculation that I have.
But Michelle would not be able to hide her involvement in the crime for a long time, and the detectives will soon pin her down.
Kind of explain to me that again. What time did Victoria come home, and when did you notice what's going on?
She gets home about 4:30 because the bus gets there about 4. So she went to her friend's house because she didn't see me at the bus stop.
Okay.
And her friend sent her back to the house around 4:30, 4:45, around there. And then that's about the time that me and Fabian, we got back about 4:50, 5 o'clock, around there.
And where were you and Fabian at?
We went to his uncle's.
Okay.
And we came back, and that's when I saw it on the table.
Okay.
And then
Take your time.
I went to use the restroom,
Mm-hmm.
and I came back and I was gone. And Victoria was the only one in the living room. So then she said she started feeling tired, so she was gonna go to bed.
Okay.
So she went in there.
So yeah, she did get sentenced to 12 years with time served for 6.5 years, and was on probation for 6 years after this confession that you're about to hear. No, Jessica is still in jail. I think Jessica's doing a life sentence.
She went into her room. Okay.
Never came back out.
Okay. What happened next? Did you go check on it?
I always checked.
Mhm.
When I checked on her, she seemed to be breathing. Because I checked, I always look at her stomach to see if it's going up and down. And that was the last time that I checked on her.
Okay.
Fabian said he was going to go check on her for me. So he went to go check on her. And that was the time she wasn't breathing. And that's when he told me, she's not breathing.
Of the 3 adults living in the apartment, each seems to have their own version of events that were vastly different from one another. Michelle claims she checked on Victoria twice and found that she had stopped breathing the second time, suggesting a possible drug poisoning. Jessica, however, had offered a completely different account, alleging that a mysterious man came looking for Fabian. When he couldn't find him, he went straight to Victoria's room and did those horrible things to her. Notably, the interrogations of both Fabian and Jessica were never disclosed to the media.
So what did you do?
So, and since then, this person has put out the interrogation of Fabian, and they'll probably have the one of Jessica out soon too. But that's going to come into play later. This man who came in looking for Fabian and then just, I guess, immediately went to Victoria's room and started doing these things. Like, I'll never understand.
You do.
I got up and breathing, she's not breathing. And then I looked on the table and put the notice the bag was gone. I was like, did she get a hold of that? And then like, she might have.
Okay.
I was like, oh, it's the only thing there.
And where was the bag at?
In the living room table. The coffee.
And did you ever see it after it went missing?
No.
No? Okay.
So then Jessica went to get the knife. And I asked her where she's going with that. She said, we're going to dispose of the body.
So let's back up just a little bit, okay? Because you're skipping around. So Fabian tells.
Now, I believe all of this part because she's not being prompted. It's when she gets prompted that I have questions about. She's just telling everything and not being prompted. I believe what she's saying right now.
Tells you she's not breathing. Did you go check on her?
I did.
Okay. And tell me about that. What did you see?
Just her laying there.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to call the cops because then they probably would have stopped me from trying to do that.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
There's another reason that you didn't call the police, though, isn't there? Why didn't you call police?
Because there were drugs in the house.
Okay.
And I didn't want them to think it was mine because it's not.
Okay. And I understand. That I understand. Okay. I mean, there's drugs in the house. You don't want to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you check on your daughter. And what do you find?
She wasn't breathing when I went in there.
Okay. Was she dead?
She was.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I know that this is not your fault.
I feel like it is.
It's not.
That's how they want me to freaking feel.
So notice the tactic, how she's holding her hand and comforting her and saying, you know, this is not your fault, trying to make her feel better. And how did the mysterious man know about Victoria? Good question to name here. Good question. Yep.
That's how they want you to feel. They want you to feel like you did this and it's your fault, but it's not.
At first glance, Michelle looks like a mother who's distressed at her daughter's death. In fact, the detective uses her sympathetic side to make Michelle comfortable and open, which worked. She shares that as a mother, she confessed to protect her own while her own daughter was tormented in front of her eyes. Had it been any other detective, maybe Michelle could have slipped through. But as the interrogation progresses, the detectives team up and get Michelle to confess the full shocking truth.
Did anybody go in the room in between when you checked on her and when the first time and the second time?
I'm not sure because I went to use the bathroom.
When did you and Fabian go to his brother's house to buy some? When was that? Was that before this or after?
That was before this.
Okay.
Carolina said Jessica was sentenced to 50 years and Fabian to 37 and a half. No one received a life sentence. Oh, wow. I thought Jessica did. Thank you for clarifying that for me. Wow, 50 years. So that means in 25 she'll be out with good behavior. But considering that she SA'd a damn female inmate, I don't know.
Because I wasn't home. I wasn't home to get Victoria at the bus stop. And then that's what made her go to her friend's house.
Okay.
And then her friend sent her back to the house when Jessica was there.
So
I don't know what went on when I wasn't there.
So do you remember when you and Fabian were back in the parking lot? When you guys got back to
Me
the
and her were
apartment?
sitting in the car.
Okay. And you guys, what were you doing?
We were listening to music.
Okay. And what did you see with Jessica? What happened with Jessica?
She was coming down the stairs with my daughter in a blanket.
Why was that?
I don't know.
You do know. So let's back up.
I'm just trying to get the times right because it's kind of getting a little confusing. Do you know what I mean?
So let's back up to where you find her and she's dead on the bed. Okay. What happens from there? There's a conversation between you and Fabian and Jessica. What is that conversation?
He said if I tell anybody that I'm gonna be the next one.
Okay.
They threatened me.
And what did you guys decide to do with your daughter? With Victoria? Your baby girl. This is your 10-year-old baby girl. Victoria.
They put in the bathtub.
Because you were there.
So she finds her daughter deceased in her room, and they say not to say anything or they'll kill her. And then now she's saying that they put her in the bathtub.
And you saw. And you watched.
Yep.
So what was the discussion about what was going to be done with Victoria?
I knew they were gonna get rid of her, but I didn't know. I forgot this discussion.
You forgot the discussion?
I don't remember it.
Okay.
Yep, Nessa.
What happened next?
They said that if I say anything, they just kept threatening me.
Okay.
That if I say anything, I'm gonna be the next one. Or I better not fall asleep. So then I just left.
So you left?
There's nothing else I could do. I didn't know what to do.
So from the time you find your daughter and she's dead, Victoria is dead in her room. Am I right? And then you leave. What happened in between that time?
And before that was the time I saw Jessica stabbing her in the stomach.
Okay.
And then with the pillow over it.
So explain the whole pillow over her head. What?
So Jessica's stabbing her in the stomach, she says, and there's a pillow over her head. Now this is going to get graphic, and I'm warning you, it's going to be hard to hear.
What was that for?
Because it's a grip to hold her hands.
So was she already
Because
dead?
she was already.
Oh, okay. So you see her and can you kind of explain to me, she's holding her hands?
And Jessica's holding her hands, and Fabian was cutting her arm.
So they were cutting her arms off in the bedroom.
Okay. And then they put it in the bathtub.
Okay. When did they start cutting her leg off?
After her arm.
After her arm? Okay. So what you're saying is Jessica was holding her arms and Fabian was cutting? Okay.
Now, for her organs to be removed and her to be being dismembered, I mean, they really thought they were going to be able to get rid of this child's body. And I question, had this ever happened before? Like, for you to just go straight to doing that, it seems like it's something you've done before, and that's scary.
So Fabian had the knife at that point. Okay. But you said that Jessica stabbed her in the stomach? Okay. Why?
It's like they were taking turns at her.
Okay. And when you saw this, you didn't call 911 because you were afraid that the cops were going to know that there were drugs in the house?
And that they were going to kill me right there on the spot.
Okay.
Michelle's story is both graphic and full of contradictions. It was clear that it didn't align with the narrative of a helpless mother she was trying to portray. But the female detective successfully sees through it. She holds Michelle's hands to show her support and empathize, a strategy only to turn Michelle's cries into confessions later.
And I'm here for that tactic.
At what time does Jessica carry your daughter down the stairs? Is this before or after they cut her up?
After.
So she was already cut up?
No, that's when they put her in the bathtub. It was before they cut her, because then they put her other pieces in the bathtub.
So she carried her downstairs to you guys when you guys were in the car before they cut her up.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was basically asking, are you guys ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then, just so we're clear, you knew that Victoria was dead, right? And then you and Fabian left for a little bit to go to his brother's house?
Carolina, we're going to talk about that, how she didn't see anything and she confessed later to lying. See, you notice how the first part she gave willingly, and now the way they're questioning her is the way you would question anybody. But you'll notice as we go through, or you go through later the interview, they start pressing her and she kind of agrees to anything that they say. Now, this is from Real Crime Psychology. I do have their link to Fabian's interview pinned at the top, and it's also in the description box. So I am going to watch these with you guys, but if you want to check it out by yourself, definitely do that. We are going to finish up both interviews at a later point. But for now, we're gonna kind of get an idea of what she's going to confess to.
Is that correct?
It's when I came back. When I came back.
When you came back? But we have people saying that you and Fabian were sitting in the car when Jessica was on the stairs holding Victoria in a blanket.
That's how I knew.
That's how you knew she was dead? Okay, so then let me back up. Victoria told you she was sleeping and was going to go to bed, right? You checked on her a little bit after that. You said she was breathing, right? So then you and Fabian left to go get from his brother? And I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure.
Yeah.
Then you guys left. Then when you came back, Jessica was holding Victoria, right?
Yes.
That's when you went up, and that's when you knew for sure she was dead?
Yes.
And what did Jessica tell you about how she died?
She told me she didn't know.
But you said earlier she killed her. How did she kill her?
Victoria took the knife that was on the table, and then Jessica stabbed her in the stomach. In her bedroom.
So I guess I'm a little confused, and I think I see what you're talking about, because
Right, a name here. She remembers this part clearly, so I do believe that this part is the truth.
it's either you your daughter went into the room and she died and you left. Or it's your daughter went into the room, you guys left, came back and found her dead. Which one is it?
Second.
So you were gone.
Yes.
You weren't even there when she was dying. Okay. And so you come back and you guys make this plan like, great, now we're going to get in trouble. So we got to get rid of the body. Am I right?
Yeah, but I don't have no part in it.
Okay.
It's not my fault.
But this is your daughter.
I know.
This is Victoria. This is your baby.
How did Victoria die? Do you know?
She tasted that was on the table.
Okay, so because you said something a minute ago, you said that Jessica stabbed her.
And it was after she was already dead.
Okay.
So this story is she got a hold of the drugs and Jessica stabbed her to death.
So you know that she took, and that's what killed her. Okay. So you guys, or you watch, but Jessica and Fabian cut your daughter up, Victoria. They cut her arms off. They cut her leg off.
And notice how the detectives are making sure to say Victoria's name, and I appreciate that.
Cut her from here to here, Victoria. They cut her. And you watch, right?
I couldn't. After I saw that she was starting to cut her arm, I left.
What do you mean you left?
I went outside.
Okay. So explain to me what happened after that. You guys started cleaning up?
And they started cleaning up.
What did you do?
I was in the kitchen
What did you do in the
getting
kitchen?
ready to make dinner, making the tacos. And then Fabian took over after he was finished.
By this point, the detectives were fairly certain Michelle's psyche was more than a little off. After all, it takes a special kind of detachment to witness your daughter being chopped up, then casually head to the kitchen to whip up some tacos.
And that's exactly what they did. Like several people from that house, that's their story. You heard Fabian and her. This child is dismembered in the bathtub and they go and make freaking tacos. Galaxies said the way the detective said, but this is your baby. That gave me chills. Yep. You think she helped cut her up, Eminem? Good to see you. Well, I don't know. I have questions, and we're going to this is why I want to talk about this case. I want to talk about false confessions and see what we can figure out is the truth and what's not. Carolina, I do appreciate, though, you letting us know. That's why I FOIA'd this case, and I'm still waiting. Like I said, I've still got to purchase the rest of it because they didn't send all of it yet, but I want to know everything. I want everything on the case so I can try to figure it out too and figure out what's true and what's not, because there's still a lot of questions around Victoria Martin's death. They definitely made tacos, though.
For a mother, brushing off something like that wasn't just concerning, it was downright chilling. In the face of such harrowing details of mutilation that would make anyone's blood boil, the detectives managed to keep a sympathetic voice towards Michelle, as if trying to understand her perspective so that she does not get defensive. This approach actually helped them to get closer to the truth.
After you guys cut the arms off of Victoria, cut her leg off, and wrapped her up in a blanket and put her in the bathtub, right? Then you went and made dinner. And what did Jessica and Fabian do?
Like nothing ever happened.
Okay. So where did they cut her up at?
The bathtub.
In the bathtub? So where did they cut her arms off at?
In the bedroom.
In the bedroom. Okay. Did you, when they were cutting her up, Victoria, did you ever touch Victoria or hold on to her, hold her arm? Did you ever hold her steady?
Because they threatened me, saying if I go near them, that they're going to kill me.
Okay. So,
yep.
You go and make dinner. Okay. And they are clean. And then what happens after that?
what to do with that. I go in my room and I eat.
Okay.
And I
so-
only ate one taco.
Well, because you were probably sick to your stomach.
I only ate one taco
Yeah, I can't.
because that's important. How many tacos?
So then I put the other one in the fridge.
Okay.
And then that's when I got back in the room. And I went to try and lay down.
Okay. And how did this all happen? How did the fight happen?
And that's true.
Did they think you were gonna try to get away?
Yes, because when I got up out of bed because I couldn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when I got up, that's when Jason explained if I believed in God. And that was my hint right there that she was trying to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to get up because I saw the iron in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got up, that's when she hit me. And I was holding like this. And I went outside into the living room. And then that's where everything else took place.
Okay.
She just started beating me and beating me.
Now you and Fabian both left out of the front door. And I know that you left together because the neighbors you guys woke the neighbors up and they all watched you. Okay.
Right?
So you and Fabian left together out the front.
So yeah, I don't know how you can eat when your child's deceased either, Fabian. Sorry, Southern Cats. So we're gonna jump. I'm gonna jump through this. I want you to hear one part before I have to go, and then I want you guys, if you guys want to continue to watch it, you can. But we will finish watching it together. Okay, it's probably about right here. I'm gonna jump to right here, but definitely go to Real Crime Psychology and check out the entire interview, and we'll watch it together. I want you to hear one part before I have to go.
Passed away. And it must have been just absolutely so difficult. Before you went and made dinner, after you guys had, or after Fabian and Jessica cut her up, when did you and Fabian have intercourse? And was it forced? Or
It wasn't forced.
Okay, so when did you guys have?
It was before we went to bed.
Before you went to bed. Was it before or after you ate?
Ask it.
So there's this child laying deceased in the bathtub that they're cutting up. They make tacos, they eat, and then she has sex with Fabian. Linda, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm gonna try to see if I can see what it was. Oh, it's a little fox smiling. That's so cute. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it is. It's horrible, Darlene.
After you ate. Okay. So, and I just want to make sure. So she dies. They cut her up and then they clean up. And then you guys had made dinner. And then after that, you had intercourse with Fabian before you went to bed. Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to verify what he's saying, just so that way I can make sure that we have the correct story. One question, and it's a very serious question. Okay. Who was raping your daughter? Who was assaulting your daughter? Who was sexually assaulting your daughter, Michelle? Because you knew about it.
That was my ex-boyfriend.
That was your ex-boyfriend?
Yes. And that's why I got rid of him.
What's his name?
David Hernandez.
Is he assaulting your son as well?
Not that I know of.
Michelle.
Because my son is barely with me. He's mostly with his father.
Michelle. Was he assaulting your son as well?
Okay, now notice now how they're getting aggressive with the questions. And again, I'm sorry, this is a hard case. But like she says no, and then they're like, Michelle. It's a tactic, but that's kind of what gets brought into question later down the road. And I'm going to play a little bit more of this and then again reference you to Real Crime Psychology to watch all of it, or you can watch all of it with me at a later date.
When did
Wait, what? Time out.
Yeah.
What the, to be frank, what the does not really know me when it comes to a child. Was he assaulting your son or not?
No.
Okay, that was the most, out of all the answers you've given me, that was the most deceptive answer you've given me all day. You need to, this isn't the time that, you're not in trouble for it. We got to know what's going on.
Mhm.
Was he assaulting your son as well?
No.
When did you find out that Fabian and Jessica were active with your daughter? When did you find out? And be honest.
Not too long ago.
Not too long ago. Okay.
And if I would have known that, I would have totally get out.
So how much were they giving her so that way they could assault her?
Quite a few.
They gave it.
So this part is questionable because she's admitting to it, and it's not like, I mean, she's answering the questions. So it's confusing because I've referenced a little bit about false confessions. I'm going to play just a few more minutes of it, and then I'm going to have to go for the day.
To her quite a few times. Okay.
How would they give it to her?
You just put it in her mouth.
Okay.
Think that.
How did she die last night? While she was being assaulted, how did she die?
I want to reiterate this trigger warning because it's about to get real bad.
It's not what killed her.
Probably contributed to it. We know for a fact that this is not what killed her.
Right, Linda?
How did she die, Michelle?
Okay, let's go back. When did you find out that Fabian was having sex with your daughter?
Well, it's not recanted, but there's a question of a false confession, and that's why she got 12 years. She still did 12 years.
With Victoria. How long ago?
Just recently.
Just recently?
What is recently?
Like
How many days?
days, weeks?
Days.
Days?
Days.
Like a couple of days, like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days? 2 days. Okay. And when did you find out that Jessica was also assaulting your daughter? Were they doing this together?
Yes.
Okay.
It's heartbreaking to imagine the horrors Victoria endured with no one to lean on, no one to protect her. The very adults who should have cared for her instead tortured and assaulted her. But the most shocking betrayal came from her own mother. Michelle wasn't just a bystander, she was complicit in the abuse, even finding pleasure in her daughter's suffering. How could a mother become the very monster her child needed protection from? To call her a mother would be an injustice to Victoria and the very meaning of the word.
How did you find out about it? Did you walk in on it? It's okay, but I need to know. Did you walk in on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were both on her.
They were both on your daughter? Okay. So 2 days ago, you find out that they're your daughter. Am I right? Okay.
Now you hear something like that and it's like, oh my God, Jesus, Lord have mercy.
So how would they do it?
Giving y'all a trigger warning.
While at work.
You were in the room while she was being assaulted. You were there. Did you participate?
No.
Did you watch?
No.
You just watched? You were there. When your daughter was being assaulted, you were there. Where were you?
Mm-hmm.
You were in the bedroom. In your bedroom or your daughter's bedroom? Okay, and where were Fabian and Jessica?
Until I thought they were having a cigarette, but they weren't.
What were they doing?
No. You watched them give them her, and you knew what they were gonna do. Don't play. Let's not start playing games now, girl. They weren't having a cigarette. You knew they were f***ing your daughter. Where were they f***ing your daughter? What room?
In her room.
Okay.
How did you participate? I don't think that you assaulted your daughter. Did you help hold her down? And I appreciate you being honest about what Jessica and Fabian have done. Okay. But the only thing that you're not being honest about is your involvement. Okay.
It's horrific, right? I'm going to play just a little bit more and then talk to you guys for a second.
So, when Jessica and Fabian were in the room assaulting your daughter, what part did you take in that act?
I let him do it.
You let them do it?
Were you having intercourse with Fabian or Jessica while they had sex with your daughter?
No.
Did you have Fabian right after he had sex with your daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Did Fabian put his in your daughter or in any other part of her body? Her mouth or her...
I could see.
What was he doing to her? I need to know.
He was going on top of her.
With what?
With his on top.
Did he put his in your daughter?
Not inside, no.
Okay, and I'm going to leave that right there because that's where it gets real bad and real graphic. That's why I said, it was probably a case that I was going to have to do on Patreon. Believe it or not, it does get worse. Now, I'm going to go for the day. And again, if you want to see them, if you want to check them out and listen to the rest of those interviews, you can. The link is at the top of the description box for Real Crime Psychology. Now, if you notice how she answers, she says no. She'll answer the question and say, no, I wasn't doing this. No, I wasn't doing that. And then the male detective's like, girl, this is not the time to lie. This is the time to be honest. Like, what were you doing? And then her story changes and it's like talking to a child. Like, your child, let's use something ridiculous, like a spilt cup of milk. There's a spilt cup of milk, one child in the kitchen with a milk jug. And you're like, child, did you spill this milk? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, you're like, okay, now you're holding the milk jug. Come on now, let's not be lying. And then the child's like, yes. That's what they're doing to her, but she's not all there. So there's a question of what actually happened, what's real and what's false. I will tell you that there was DNA evidence gotten from the scene of the crime, and some of the DNA does not match any of the 3 people involved. Darlene said, don't forget, they went to the neighbor and the neighbor called the cops after she was hit in the face with the iron and he had the black eye. They're also planting shit in her head. She just said no. Right. Yeah, we will continue to watch it. But like I said, it's a case that I wasn't even going to do on YouTube. I was going to do on Patreon because it's just so horrible. But if you want to go watch it for yourself and learn the case more, definitely check out Real Crime Psychology, which is who I borrowed those from today. Now, like I've told you also, this case, I have a lot of questions, so I have FOIA'd everything. I sent them a FOIA request and I asked for everything. And they charged me $1 per page and sent me 282 pages. I've asked them, what about everything else? They sent me back and said there's like over 700 more pages and several discs with interviews and photos and things like that. I will not be releasing photos of Victoria Martins after death. Nowhere will I do that. You will never see that unless you FOIA that information and pay for it yourself. However, I am going to try my best as I can afford to get all the information in this case so we can kind of break it down together and see what we can figure out. Was it a false confession? What actually happened? Do we know what actually happened? Will we ever know what actually happened? So if you haven't subscribed, please do so as we learn this case over the next little while. I do appreciate you all for being here. I know that was really hard to listen to. I do also have another case that I have got everything on out of Florida involving some teenagers. So I appreciate you guys being here. Please remember Victoria Martins. Say a prayer for her. This child's life was taken for no apparent reason at all, and it's really sad. Thank you all again for being here. If nobody has told you today, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. If it is your birthday, happy birthday. And with that, I might be here tomorrow, I might not. If I schedule a live for tomorrow, then I'll be here. But if there's not a live scheduled for tomorrow, I'll make a post. We're supposed to go to the lake, but it depends on how much gets done. So
I can talk proper and I can.
Sorry. So look for the thumbnail. If there's not one tomorrow, that means we're at the lake. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you Monday. If I do see you tomorrow, then I'll see you tomorrow. Abellis, oh my God, thank you. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Abellis said to help out and for Basil's treats. I really appreciate that. I wasn't saying that so you would do that, but I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. The Discord, I will drop it as soon as I play my outro. Well, it depends. If I'm able to come live tomorrow, we will continue going over the interrogation. If not, it'll probably be sometime this week. I will drop the Discord link. Thank you so much. Galaxies, that was so sweet of you. Kelly, y'all are being so sweet. Okay, guys, I'm going to play the outro so I can get my butt out here and finish tilling this garden. I love you all and have a good night. Bye.